Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. You all right, Jamie?
Yeah, somehow my headphones got caught up in my pen.
Nice.
It's one of those days.
You're good to go.
Did you rip your pants?
No, not this time. Let me tell you how frustrating that was, too. Walking along and you're just scooching over because the suitcase is too big because we got to go through customs. So you got to get all your bags. Then you're on the road. Those are the only pants you brought because you brought like two different blazers so you can mix and match a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Kept the same pants because those are the ones that are comfortable.
Yeah. Not comfortable.
But you were wearing them?
I was wearing them.
Why were you wearing them?
Because I was on the plane following the game, Anthony.
Oh, following the game. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you travel in those? Now it makes sense.
Well, you have to travel wearing nice clothes.
You have to travel wearing pants.
And, with this team, you do. Yeah.
Most teams.
Boy, classy, Blues. Okay.
You want to have pants on when you get on the plane.
And you got to dress appropriately, Anthony. It can't be like jeans and cut-off T-shirt.
Okay, all right. I get it. I get it.
I mean,
Boy.
you're representing yourself at all times and the club.
So
It's true.
Brandon Kiley just walked out, and you guys told him, "Hey, did you hear that Anthony's on Chiefs Kingdom?
Yeah.
Chiefs King Nation here." BK goes, "We declined the invite." Here's the thing: I never sent invites out. I just showed up and said, "I'm here. You're welcome. Let's go Chiefs." And it just seems like there's a lot of pushback from Chiefs fans.
I like it, Anthony, because, look, I want the 49ers to win, so I need you to have all the faith you have in
It's nice. It's nice of you to put it that way. That's Jamie Rivers. He's going to be here until 4 o'clock before he heads downtown for the Blues' final game before the All-Star break. They take on the Blue Jackets tonight. Are the Blues winning because of their mindset and maybe not the numbers? Are they winning by mindset? Have they changed their mindset?
With the Blues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they shifted to a winning way?
Oh, I didn't know you were done talking. He kept pausing and talking, so I thought he was building up too dramatic.
I was waiting for you to say something.
Well, I was waiting for you to finish, Anthony. It's polite, you know?
Sometimes it takes a while.
Especially with Anthony, too. If you don't let him finish, he gets cranky.
Yeah?
Yeah, you got to be careful of that.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's good advice. Trust me. Now, that being said, no, I think this is a team that now understands that they're never out of a game. And even though the underlying numbers that people love, Carey, you love the underlying numbers, don't you? You love the analytics.
I live for it.
I know you do.
Yeah.
I know you do. Well, the analytics aren't great in this 5-game winning streak for the Blues. 5-on-5, shots given up, and all this stuff. But the record is 5 in a row with wins. So I think the biggest thing here that you take from this winning streak is just that the Blues aren't giving up in games. And the power play, where it was costing you games at the start of the season,
Not helping you win.
is now helping you win these games.
So Blues Views, STL Blues Views on Twitter says that the Blues are 8-3-1 in the month of January. That's the 9th best power play percentage in the NHL. In that span, the Blues ranked dead last in 5-on-5 goals, like expected goal percentage. It's something that, Carey, you love.
EG.
31st in Corsi percentage and 30th in shots for percentage. They rank 8th in power play percentage and 27th in PK percentage. So, like, the numbers would suggest that this team is struggling, yet they've won 5 in a row.
Anthony, the only thing I love more than expected goals are real goals. It's the only thing I love more. I love just barely though, not much. But the expected goals mean almost everything until you get the real ones. And then I like those a little bit better.
Those ones feel better, don't they?
Yeah. I go into that game, we're expected to do this tonight. Okay. Then I get a little bit more excited when they get the real ones in there, and that gets me going.
Get the victory.
Yeah, I like those.
What I'm talking about. Now, if we're going to talk expected goals, if we're going to get into the numbers here, you got a goalie that his numbers are pretty damn good. He's got, I think, 9 saves, 9 goals above expected save on chances that should have been goals that weren't. So on plus 9 in this category, which is phenomenal. Means he's making saves that he shouldn't be making, but quite honestly, we know that Jordan Binnington makes those saves. Last year was a bad year, a down year for everyone. I still will die on the hill that Jordan Binnington was not as bad as the numbers reflected. He was a victim of circumstances at times, and there were some games last year where he was literally hung out to dry and still had some unbelievable saves. But this year, teams playing a little better, cleaning up some of that debris in front of the net for him. We're not seeing a lot of those backdoor tap-in goals this year. We're not seeing a lot of those second, third chance type goals. Every now and then you see a rebound opportunity, but Jordan Binnington's able to make the save. You ask your goalie to make some of the saves that he's supposed to make, and then you ask him to make the timely saves that help you win a game. And that's what Jordan Binnington has done. Mm-hmm. And when he makes those saves, then the Blues are finding a way to make the other team pay. Whether it's a shorthanded goal, whether it's a power play goal, whether it's an overtime goal, whatever it is, they're finding a way now to get the W.
Mm-hmm. So, does it continue tonight against the Blue Jackets?
This, Anthony, is one of those games, okay? I'm going to say it because usually I'm always like, don't say it. Don't say it. It's a trap game. The Columbus Blue Jackets are not a good hockey team. They have a slew of injuries that they're dealing with right now. They're coming off the West Coast, so they were in Seattle 2 nights ago. They got pumped out there. Now what's your reward? You travel all the way to St. Louis to play the Blues, who won 5 in a row. And you're also dealing with one of your best rookie player, one of your young stars. He's out for this game as well. Blue Jackets sit at 15 wins for the season. This is a game that is the one that you don't want to go into it thinking it's easy, and it's also the last game before the All-Star break.
That, to me, probably is more than anything, because guys that aren't going to the All-Star weekend, the ones that have trips planned, the ones that plan on resting for the next 8 to 10 days, I'm ready to get this over with. I'm ready to get the hell out of here and relax. Now, we want to win, but making sure everybody collectively is dialed in from start to finish is going to be a big thing, because when you get a break, it's like bye week. Oh, yeah, we got some time off. Get me the hell out of here. So you will have, I'm sure that is more of a concern than, who you're playing. That just adds on to it.
Well, Drew Bannister this morning relayed the message to the media. He just said, I've told this team that the All-Star break starts when this game's over.
Yeah.
Like, we've done too much here, worked too damn hard to win 5 in a row, to get ourselves in a playoff spot to where we're at, to be cutting it short by 1 game and finishing on a sour note. So all the stars line up for this to be a tough game for the Blues. I think tonight, for me, if I'm looking at this team, if I'm Drew Bannister, if I'm Doug Armstrong, or if I'm a Blues fan, tonight will tell me what this team is truly made of. Because they'll either look at this moment as, we won 5 in a row, and hey, by the way, let's not miss the private jet down to the Bahamas tomorrow. Like, it'll either be that one, or it'll be like, there's no damn way we're losing this game because we've won 5, we want 6, and we want to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So tonight, I want to see which team shows up. I know that based upon their last 5 games, I think I know who's going to show up, and I hope it's that group of guys that rises to the top tonight and wins this hockey game. But for me, it's a big game.
So the Blues are 13-6-1 since Drew Bannister took over for Craig Berube. That was on December 14th. 5 in a row now. They're receiving strong play, as we've discussed, throughout their lineup. Carey netting 20 points in 20 games. Pavel Buchnevich having netted 4 goals in that 3-game winning streak, or in a 3-game streak, I should say. And Robert Thomas and Braden Shen, 5-game point streak. So the guys that you're either paying or expecting a lot from, they're delivering. Jordan Binnington as well. You've broken him down. And then you're getting some of that ancillary scoring, that secondary scoring too. This is a complete team effort, despite the fact that the numbers, some of the advanced analytics would suggest otherwise. And like you said, Carey, doesn't really matter what the analytics say. It's about what you're doing on the ice.
Well, at the start of the season, the Blues were one of the best teams offensively, 5-on-5 in the NHL. How is that working? How did that work out?
Yeah, not great.
Work out great.
I mean, they're win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2. Like, it was
on the power play.
It couldn't score on the power play. So now things, are a little different. 5-on-5, which I have no doubt that will improve at some point. But now they're winning hockey games.
Tonight's game, will that give you a glimpse of what this team really is? If they come out and lay a dud, do you feel like that's essentially who they are? Or is it How important is tonight's game because of all of the things that you just spoke about?
Yeah, I think it's, it speaks volumes as to what these guys are. I said it a couple minutes ago, like, to me, it's going to tell the story of whether you have a group of guys that are kind of ho-hum or you have a group of guys that are not satisfied winning 5 in a row. They want 6, they want 7, they want 8. They want to keep winning here. And based on what the captain's saying these days, Braden Shen, he's like, we're a group in here that's just not satisfied. We want to win. We want to compete in every single game. We feel like we can win every game that we play in. If that's your captain, that's your leader, and we know the way he plays, and Robert Thomas, the way he's been playing, like hopefully these guys drag everybody into the battle tonight and you get the best version of the Blues. That's what I want.
Right.
My fear is that it might be a little bit...
It's tough.
First of all, for Blues fans, too, when you're watching the game tonight, don't try to over-evaluate the team. Because when you're playing a team that's not as good or that isn't very good, the game looks sloppy. It's not clean the way you'd like it to be. There's other ways you're going to have to win. You're going to have to make it dirty. You're going to have to put it on the wall. You have to cycle it down. Like, it's not going to be pinpoint precision. And it always ends up that way because the teams that aren't as good, they're not in the places where you think they're going to be. I'm serious.
It's not worried. What the hell are you doing?
It's like playing poker with somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing.
They might play a wonderful hand or a terrible hand.
Right.
You don't know what's going on.
Yep.
Is it a bluff or are they just bad at poker?
Correct. Yeah.
And so it happens that way too. So it might take a little bit for the Blues to figure out kind of what's been going on because they've been playing some pretty good teams recently.
Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter, Blues, Blue Jackets tonight. Pregame starting at 6 o'clock. Xavier Scruggs, former Cardinal, sat down with Cardinals manager Oli Marmol, talked a lot about analytics, his role. Not only the role of analytics in baseball, but his role specifically. He also talked about accountability. I think that some may come away with a different perspective on Oli. Others will look to the fact that, this again is still a huge year for Oli based on the fact that you had one good year, one bad year, and he's got a lot to prove. We're going to get into what he said. You'll hear from him, and we'll break it down next in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. So that's perfect timing with Jay Delsing. You just heard him. I just ran into him at the Missouri Athletic Club earlier today. He was out working there. I talked to Jay for a little bit. You never know who you're going to see there, whether it's Dan McLaughlin or our guy, Jay Delsing. You meet new people as well. You see the same people working out a lot. You get to know them, get to know what they do. It's part of the club experience. It's fun, right? You go down there, you get your workout in. I prepped there as well, prepped for the show, and then came in. I love going to the Missouri Athletic Club, which is downtown, the West Clubhouse. That's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club. Xavier Scruggs sat down recently with Cardinals manager Oli Marmol to discuss a variety of topics, and we all came away really impressed with Oli and the way that he was speaking, but not every Cardinals fan is going to feel the same way. If you listen to this, or after you listen to this, because we will play clips from it, want to ask you, has your perception changed at all about Oli? And if it hasn't, you're still angry and you want him fired, or why? Because I would really like to know. I mean, this is just flat out me being interested. I'm curious. I can understand some of the reasons for the frustrations with Mo. Oli, unless you're talking about a specific bullpen move that he didn't make that you want him to make. What else, though? What else about Oli are you frustrated by? Leave us a mic drop. What?
People just.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something about it.
I thought he was ready to jump on right away.
No. I like Oli.
Off the top rope over here.
I think Oli does a great job. I think people put too much emphasis on what the coach's role is. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the coach prepares you for the game, and the players have to go out and play the game. Oli didn't throw the ball over the first baseman's head in Miami. I don't think he fielded that. I think that was Jordan Hicks. And so when you have players that don't do their job the correct way, the way that they're coached, it's weird that you blame the manager or you blame the coach for all things problematic on or off the field. It's kind of not how that works.
It's kind of the way the cookie crumbles, though, right?
Yeah, eventually the coach gets fired.
Yeah, you're in a leadership role.
In any sport, the leadership role gets, or any business really for that matter.
But the players have to play. Yeah. And they have to play better, and they have to play well.
All right, so here is Oli Marmol. Let's start with this on the role of analytics in baseball, which is always a hot topic.
People like saying, I hate analytics, or old school versus new school. Mm-hmm. It's neither. It's, like you're using a ton of information to help you make decisions that are sustainable over time. And when you look at the game, you have to remember you're dealing with humans that have a heartbeat, that experience pressure and anxiety, and some handle the moment a certain way, some don't. Mm-hmm. So it's great to have this information. You use it, right? But at the same time, all you're doing is applying it to what you know and your eyes see and your gut tells you. So when it comes down to it, I want as much information as possible. I want to be able to process it, figure out what works, what doesn't, what I like using, what I don't like using. But then you let your eyes see the game, and you know the personality of the player, and you know how they can handle certain things in certain situations. Right. So, you're not letting the numbers just run the game. And I think that's a perception that's out there. We're like, the front offices are running the game. Yeah, I can tell you right now, I've yet to have one person from our front office come down and tell me what I should have done in the game, or how to run the next game, or that's not how we operate. Right. I can tell you that in St. Louis.
Jamie, you and I have had this conversation before about analytics, and we have discussed it in a similar manner. It's information. How you decide to use the information, that's up to you. Some managers lean too heavily on the numbers, and it's like, hey, this is what the numbers are. I'm going with that. They don't either have instincts or trust their instincts, so they just lean on the numbers. What Oli said, I think, is what managers should do, regardless of the results. What's the situation call for? You're managing the team, which means you should know some of the things he's talking about. Who's healthy, who's not. Yeah. Who's feeling good, who's not. Baseball is very streaky. Who's in a good streak, who's in a bad streak. Who just pitched 2 days prior and stinks 2 days later. You need to know all this stuff because you're managing the club.
Who's having problems at home.
Exactly, yeah.
It all comes into play, man.
He's right. He's talking about managing human beings, and he's right. I think we tend to think what some teams do, which is just like, spreadsheet, we're good.
Well, some teams do that.
Right.
We know that.
This team does not.
No. And look, we're in lockstep on what we feel about analytics. I know, Carey, you're big time anti-analytics, but for me,
to a degree.
But in all reality, if we dial it back and we're just very honest for a second, analytics, they are literally every part of our life. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, there's information provided to you, and it's up to you to use the information whether you like to or not. Like, even if you're looking at something, if you're trying to keep your diet, you check out the numbers on the back. I mean, that's a form of analytics telling you how many calories and carbs and all that. So you take that information and you go, maybe I shouldn't because I'm working out. Or I don't care. So you make a human decision based on the information that's been given to you. And that's whether you work at a bank or a car dealership or whatever, radio. We look at all sorts of things. But in sports, it's the same thing, except for the analytics are sometimes driving decisions that human beings should be making. Yeah, we've seen it before with the Tampa Bay Rays. We've seen it with certain teams where the analytics override that human instinct.
Yeah.
I don't think Oli does that. And now, is he being 100% truthful that the front office has never come down to his office and said, maybe they didn't come down, maybe they just walked across the hall? I don't know. But I do feel like there are times where there have been some decisions that have been made because Oli has said things in certain ways that would make it seem like it was out of his hands or out of his control, which to me seems like somebody else is making that decision. But I'm not going to call the guy a liar.
Well, no, but let's unpack that, right? Because it's my understanding that Mo has always controlled the roster. Oli has always controlled the day-to-day. He's got the lineup. So Mo is not going to Billy Bean style, Brad Pitt style in Moneyball, go down to the manager and say, you got to play this guy. But he does control the roster. So what Oli's saying might be true in that. That's not.
I can only play who I have.
Yeah, he's right. He doesn't control the roster. He doesn't sign players. He doesn't send them down. He doesn't bring them up. He's probably part of the discussion, Carey. But ultimately, Mo's got the roster. He's got the lineup.
What I think him saying this, I don't know, maybe this was his intent. I think it puts more pressure on him if they don't succeed. Because on one hand, you could say, well, the analytics department, that's why we make certain decisions. But if you're telling us that you make all in-game decisions, whether good or bad, well, now people are going to critique you for every bad decision that takes place. Ryan Helsley goes out and doesn't perform well. Why the hell did you put him out there again? Why is Tommy Edman playing center field today, but he's playing second base tomorrow? Why is Brendan Donovan playing in left field and Lars is playing? All of the decisions that take place where guys are jumping around in different positions, what you're essentially telling us is those are your decisions. Mm-hmm. And if they don't work out well, then why the hell are you doing it? So I think you may have put a target on your back that was already there, obviously, because you're going into your final year of a contract without any expectation of a renewed contract if you don't win. And by win, I mean win the division, make a playoff push. I think that's the bar that is set for Oli Marmol right now. I just think right now by making that statement, you put eyeballs will be focused on every decision as they already have been, but maybe more intently now because now people will say, well, hell, why did you make that decision? Why did we do this? Why? You put it all on yourself, which is good or bad. Good. Yeah, it's good if it goes well. It's bad if it doesn't.
I think that everybody knows this circumstances, all right? Like, this is the last year of his contract, so this is a situation he's got to produce. So if you've been frustrated by Oli Marmol for whatever reason, and we'd all like to hear what your reasons are, because I think that we're all kind of curious as to maybe why you've decided to say, hey, Oli's the problem. But we can all be on the same page in that this is his final year. He's got to produce. He doesn't have a contract beyond this. So him putting on himself, I like that. I like him saying that they don't tell me how to manage a game.
I love it.
That's my job.
You got to win.
Absolutely.
I firmly believe that coaches should do what the hell they think is right. Because any coach that I've seen that's gotten fired and that didn't do it the way they felt, next chance I get, I'm doing it my way. I don't give a damn what they say. If you're going to fire me anyways, I might as well get fired doing it my own way. So I like the fact that he's saying this is on me. This is all me. Now go out there and put together a roster and put together a lineup that wins games more than they lose games.
So we asked for your mic drops. We're going to play one mic drop here, and then we will dive into this because there's more to the conversation between Xavier Scruggs and Oli Marmol. But here's Chris.
Can you put all the blame on Oli? No. Can you put blame on Mozeliak and the ownership? Yes. We don't know exactly how much free cash the ownership has. We know what they say the club is worth. We know what they say that the DeWitts are worth. But how much of that's actually free cash and not investments? Do I think that they could open up their pocketbook and spend a little bit more money to get some better players in here? Yes. Do I think that they should experiment into more coaching? kind of like from what I see the NFL has gone to where you have a specific receiver coach, you have a specific linebacker coach. I don't know if the Cardinals really have that. That comes from hearing the interview that Mozeliak had with Sonny Gray. And Gray saying, oh, you guys got this. And Mozeliak saying no. I think with Oli, the majority of the problem is just lack of experience. Did he make bonehead moves? Yeah, all freaking managers make bonehead moves. But I think the more experience that Oli gets, I think the better he's going to get. You can't really judge everything the man has done off of a small sample size. You're going to need 4 or 5 years before you can really see if this man can manage or not. The only thing I think is he might lack the gumption to get to rally the troops up, if you were to say the least. I don't know if he can really get the guys into it or if he's just depending upon the players. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate the mic drop, well thought out. And that last part there, talking about the players and whether or not Oli could get the most out of them, that is something we'll talk about a little bit later on in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. There is one name. This NFL head coaching cycle has been unpredictable. Awesome. Unpredictable.
Very.
The Lions are going to keep Ben Johnson.
Good for them.
He's not going anywhere.
Good for him.
Why he's not going anywhere is pretty interesting. And I agree with Carey. I don't know if we're on the same page, but I agree with what you just said. Good for him. We'll tell you why next on 101 ESPN.
Cheap, fun.
For your next party or your next get-together, please visit my friends over at Dirt Cheap. First of all, if you have any questions regarding any beer, wine, or any kind of a spirit, they're there to help you. So walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. They'd love to hear that. And ask them questions. Maybe even ask them about certain spirits that are used in certain cocktails. They're there to help you. And they're also there to let you enjoy the great selection of beer, red wine, white wine, and all of your favorite bourbons. I absolutely love going there for my bourbons. You got the Angels Envy, Elijah Craig Small Batch. That's one of my favorites. And the price is always my favorite thing about Dirt Cheap. And that's where they get their name. Right there is the prices, not the product. So please make sure you stop by. And in fact, right now, Maker's Mark has a private selection available, private barrel selection at Dirt Cheap. It's called Snow Day. It is only available at Dirt Cheap, and you are absolutely going to love it. You're also going to love the app. Download the app, find even more savings, deals, raffles, all sorts of things available on there. And the best thing about it is now you can place an order online to either pick it up in person or you can have it delivered to your home. That's the best thing about Dirt Cheap is they're always there looking to help their customers. So please have fun out there, but be careful.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5:30, so stay tuned for that. Once again, Blues Blue Jackets tonight right here on 101 ESPN. We are taking your mic drops on your thoughts on Oli Marmol. He was on Show and Go with Xavier Scruggs talking about last season. We want to know what your thoughts are, so send us mic drops, text us to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll continue that conversation throughout the remainder of the show. Also, it looks like the Detroit Lions will keep their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. We're going to dive into that coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me? It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. NFL Network's Tom Placerio reports that the Lions have told the Commanders and Seahawks, the final two teams in need of head coach, that Ben Johnson, offense coordinator, will remain the team's OC in 2024. So Ben Johnson, a hot commodity now for the last 2 years, definitely this year. He's going to remain the Lions offense coordinator. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that Johnson's asking price, quote, spooked some teams.
Good for him.
Good for him is right.
Yeah.
You're a hot commodity. Now, we don't know how long that's gonna last.
Yeah.
But you're the hot commodity.
Run it back.
This is going to be your first time as head coach. Typically, you only get two bites of the apple.
Probably gone.
Some guys only get one. Mm-hmm. Typically, you get two. Ben Johnson, I think, is being smart here and saying, I'll pick the next spot. I'm going to go to a spot that I think fits me.
Well, I think that's important. And, Carey, you can speak to this in football. Obviously, you know that a whole lot better than I do. But, like, even Craig Berube right now is sitting at home talking about how he wants to coach again, but he wants the right opportunity with the right people and a team that he feels can win.
Right.
I mean, if you're Ben Johnson, you're 37 years old, I believe. I think he's under 40. I know that.
He's 37.
37 years old. You have a lot of football life in you. You're in a great situation with the Detroit Lions right now. Quite honestly, people around the league are looking at the model that you guys have built and going, I want this. Players are looking, going, I want to love my team like those guys love their team. Mm-hmm. He's going to have his pick of the litter. And if the Commanders don't, get him all warm and fuzzy, and if the Seattle Seahawks are, then wait. Somebody's getting fired next year.
Right.
For sure.
Chances are you'll have 7 more opportunities.
Yeah,
it happens every year.
So I don't know. I think it's a smart thing for him to possibly go and finish what they've started in Detroit. Because now, what's his asking price if for some reason he's a Super Bowl champion after next year or gets to the Super Bowl?
I mean, for me, I think it's tough to turn down an opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL. There's 32 of those jobs. You one of 32 to have that opportunity be presented. For him to turn it down or for him to spook people with his asking price, I guess it speaks volumes to his confidence and what he believes he can do and what he is. And maybe those weren't the right places for him. Maybe he didn't see Sam Howell having as much success as Jared Goff does. Maybe that
might have been the biggest reason.
The problem is, you look at Seattle, you're like, Geno, Jared, okay, maybe I'll go back to where I was at. And yeah, but I think the thing that scares me, Byron Leftwich did this a couple of years ago. He turned down an opportunity to be a head coach in Jacksonville. Byron Leftwich doesn't coach right now.
Right.
Like, he's not an OC at this moment. He was a Super Bowl winning coach, and he was the hot commodity for a lot of teams that offseason and turned one job down and got fired, I believe, the next season. So, I don't know that Ben Johnson runs into that issue, but when you have an opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL, it's really hard to turn that down or to have your asking price be so high the teams shy away from you. So,
and that's speculation, though, too, right?
Yeah,
I know it's Shefty and he's dialed in, but, like, then what was the asking price? Like, is it just too high for a guy for his first job, or was it too high just overall? Like,
was he demanding certain things?
Like,
right.
What are we talking about?
We don't know. But going back to Detroit is not a bad option.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it yesterday. If he were to leave, the entire offense probably changes. And now you're spending an offseason trying to get acclimated to new terminology and figuring out the pieces to the puzzle and how things are going to fit. Him coming back in, it just makes life much easier for a team that should have beat the San Francisco 49ers this weekend. So it shouldn't even ran into that issue that they ran into.
I picture this, by the way. I was running through this scenario in my head. You know, Anthony, I like to visualize things.
Oh, yeah.
And I picture this happening, that Ben Johnson got to the practice facility, and they were talking about some things, and Dan Campbell told him, hey, by the way, I got to show you something for next year. We're going to do some new team building stuff. He says, come with me. And Ben Johnson goes with him, and then he shoves him into the broom closet where there's nowhere to run. And he's got 2 cell phones in his hand, and he pokes him in the chest with the first one. Call the Commanders and tell them no. And then call Seattle, tell them no.
It's all set up.
Yeah. You're going to ask for the guy's wife, okay? That's asking for too much. Exactly. Welcome back to Detroit. See, that's what I picture happening.
Hilarious. The Washington owners are like, okay.
I think that's too much, Ben. I don't.
That's all?
Come on down.
Well, you know, I know you're joking about Dan Campbell, but you also see what you have in a boss.
Look what you're building there.
Yeah.
Even the team, guys stuck around to take less money to be there.
So Dan Campbell has built a culture where people want to be there. It's not just the players, it's the coaches. So why leave a really good situation when you probably are going to have more opportunities a year from now? Who knows? Maybe the Eagles fire Nick Sirianni next year.
Please stop. Can we stop?
And then he's the Eagles head coach with Jalen Hurts.
Why do we want to fire Nick Sirianni?
I'm not saying why.
Why wouldn't we?
Why do we want to?
Why would we not?
Why do we want to fire Nick Sirianni? He took a team to the Super Bowl
this year?
1 year ago. Probably today. They were heading down. Where did they play at? I don't even remember where they played at last year.
now.
No, they are now. They lost in the playoffs. They lost. But
the Grand Canyon.
How were their last 6 games?
It wasn't great. Things kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Why
for
are you
those
so devoted to Nick
Eagles.
Sirianni? What happened?
I just
Tell me.
don't
What
understand.
story? There's something buried
I don't
there.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know Nick Sirianni. I have no clue.
Did he
who
get
is.
you a job? Because that's what it usually is.
He did not.
Either
now,
Carey.
if he calls me and gets me a job, then I definitely would be pounding on the table for him.
Yeah, you will.
Because clearly.
You should.
But I just think when you take a team to the Super Bowl and you have a bad year, not even a bad year because you made the playoffs, you had a bad end of the year. Why do we want to fire?
It was pretty bad.
No, it was terrible.
We don't
Carey,
want, but this is, you know, the NFL better than any of us. Doug Peterson got fired. He won the Super Bowl.
And Lurie thought heavily on firing Nick Sirianni. Like they literally, you think they sat down and said, we have to figure this out.
But a year from now.
Well, let's worry about that. If
Ben
they
Johnson,
stink,
head coach.
Oh my God.
Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh my goodness. We don't want to get rid of Mike McCarthy, but we want to fire Nick Sirianni.
Ben Johnson's going to Kansas City after Andy Reid retires.
There you go.
Maybe that's
him and Mahomes.
No, be aware.
My Mahomes.
Oh my God.
My Chiefs.
Oh my goodness.
I like the fit, Jamie.
Yeah, I bet you do. Do you vomit in your own mouth at all when you say that?
No, not one bit.
He says it with a straight face.
Yeah.
There's nothing that.
If I was a Chiefs fan, I'd want to pop you.
I think they do.
Oh man.
Based on our text line. And Brandon Kiley.
Bothered.
But they'll come around. We'll all be celebrating.
Will you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Week from Sunday.
Can't wait for that, Anthony.
Did Oli Marmol change your mind on the Tyler O'Neill situation? If you didn't hear the audio with Xavier Scruggs, you will next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, we're just talking about the NFL and the Super Bowl. I can tell you this, that nobody does a Super Bowl quite like FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And if you're like me, you like to watch your Super Bowl, maybe kick back, get your feet up on the couch, grab your favorite snack. And how about placing some super bets, Carey?
Oh, you would love it. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or maybe a 3. And now you can bet on who will, not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for which player will score a touchdown. Thinking Patrick Mahomes might throw a few. Isaiah Pacheco maybe run one in. How many points will be scored? You think over 35 for your Kansas City Chiefs?
They're getting at least 31, guys.
And so much more. And new customers join today. You'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet or more wins.
Yeah, I'm seeing still the Chiefs are underdogs. It's a crime. It's a crime. You don't need the points. Just take the money line with the Chiefs.
It's offensive.
Just visit FanDuel.com/fast to sign up. Just visit FanDuel.com/fast to sign up, and then you can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So here's my issue with Marmol. I actually like him, but when you look at how he handled the O'Neill issue in the spring and how he handled Contreras in the spring, it was an absolute disaster. And I think outside of that, obviously, he botched the Philadelphia game, but I was more disappointed in how he handled the first two issues, and I think that set a lot of the tone for the year.
All right, thank you, Tim. Thanks for leaving us a mic drop. We did ask you if you're listening to Oli Marmol speak to Xavier Scruggs for the first time, or you just happened to catch it maybe online somewhere on social media. We wanted to know if your perspective of Oli has changed after listening to him, or if you're still in camp, yeah, we need a new manager. Why? And Tim broke it down for us. He didn't like the Contreras situation, how Oli handled that. He didn't love the handling of Tyler O'Neill and that whole situation. And also going back to the Philadelphia game, where I think a lot of people are, the mismanagement of that game cost you potentially a playoff win. Those are the things that Tim didn't like. What do you not like, or has your perspective changed? Interestingly enough, Oli did address the situations last year, maybe not by name in the case of Tyler O'Neill, but here's Oli talking about the accountability of players as the season wears on.
One thing I learned from one of my mentors, he was great at this. He basically said, okay, when you talk about developing a player, you bring them into the room. This is something I do. And you say, all right, what do you want for yourself? X, what do you want for yourself this year? All right. And then what do you want for your career? And then allow me to tell you what I want for you this year and what I want for your career. Wow. And at the end of that conversation, once we put all the cards on the table, I say, can I hold you accountable to this? So now I'm asking you permission to hold you accountable throughout the course of the year. When things don't look right and you're doing something that's not pointing in the direction to allow you to do what you just said you wanted to do, then I get to call you out for it. So now I've removed myself. It's not me against you. It's not personal. This is what you want for yourself, and I'm going to hold you to that. And you've given me permission to hold you to that. So when it's June and you're not running something out and you don't feel good, and whatever the case may be, and you're making excuses, I get to pull you aside and say, hey, big boy, we talked about this is what you want for yourself, and I'm holding you to that. And it creates an environment where it's not personal. It's just, I want you to achieve what you want to achieve for yourself. And by you doing that, it helps the club. So therefore, like, accountability is what leads to growth.
So yeah, here's
Preach, Oli.
He was talking about Tyler O'Neill there.
No, was he?
I think so.
Pick your player, right?
Right.
He said June. I mean, that happened.
It's some pretty specific dates and times.
He said big boy.
He said June.
That got March.
He spit his drink out.
He did. He said big boy.
How do you know he's talking about him?
Well,
I agree.
lifts a lot of weight.
Yeah, he does.
he's
Big
strong.
guy. Big, strong guy.
Big, strong back.
Yeah.
I agree that he's strong back.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, when you lift a lot of weight, you overhead press, you get strong. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Carey.
Working
Appreciate
on
that.
it. I'm working on it.
That's my personal trainer over here.
I get you together. Come see me. We'll get together. No, I love that mindset. I think that when you have as many issues and the issues that they had that were so glaring, the Wilson Contreras issue became a national issue where people on Major League Network, Major League Baseball, MLB.com were talking about it, where people on ESPN were talking about it. Those things, not that they all can be kept in-house, but some of those things don't need to be as exposed as they were. And I think as if you're saying that all of this is you, we didn't hear much from anybody in terms of Wilson Contreras. I figured, because more times than not, when you're a professional athlete, if your coach calls you out in front of the media, 9 times out of 10, he's already told you about you in person. Like, you haven't done this well enough. So when people were upset about Tyler O'Neill, oh, how dare he? I'm sure, pretty damn sure, him and Tyler O'Neill had a conversation that led him to come in front of the media and say, hey, this is what he didn't do well. I already told him. Now I'm telling y'all. I didn't have a problem with the Tyler O'Neill issue. I had a problem with Wilson Contreras issue because you say he's this, and then the next day, no, he's not going to catch. He's going to be this. And no, actually, he is going to be our everyday catcher. And nobody stood out in front of that. Anybody. And now you're hearing, 9 months later, well, that was kind of missed. Where the hell were y'all at last April, last May, last June? Mm-hmm. Why is this now becoming a topic where it could have been put to bed at that time?
I agree. in that moment, Anthony, you know how I got pissed at that whole situation because I felt like Wilson Contreras was just being thrown under the bus.
The new guy.
And nobody stepped up to kind of shield him. Now, looking back on the situation, I still think Oli Marmol handled it wrong. I think John Mozeliak handled it wrong. But at the time now, looking back and hearing it from Michaelis and Flaherty and other people following this, Marmol almost shielded Contreras from. He tried to take the attention away from pitchers versus the catcher. He tried. Because afterwards they're out like talking about, well, you know, it wasn't really Wilson, it was us, we were missing it.
I hate it.
I hated every piece of it, trust me. But I feel like it was a unique situation to where the manager really didn't know what the hell to do. Because he's got a situation now with a brand new catcher who's not named Yachty, and he's got these pitchers who are pitching terrible. There's obviously some problems going on here. You're trying to find a spot for Wilson Contreras. That's where his experience or his lack of experience probably showed itself the most. And it was a non-baseball situation. It was managing people that he fell short in my books. So I think he learned from that. And hopefully, you know, that doesn't present itself again. And if it does, hopefully he steps up and does exactly what he's done here in this interview, is own things and talk things and be open about it.
I do think I love the way he approached it. I mean, he's right. No. I mean, okay. So the Contreras situation was botched,
correct,
by the entire organization.
Okay,
not just Oli Marmol, not just the pitching staff, the entire organization. I feel like the organization are like, it was just a miscommunication. No, it wasn't. They kind of set the tone too for the year.
Buried your new guy, basically.
Yeah, that was.
And then got mad at saying the media is overplaying it.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, you guys overplayed this, really, because your fan base is pretty ticked off too. So moving away from the Contreras thing, he was describing exactly.
Yeah.
What he says to every player, including Tyler O'Neill. So when people and look, we got a mic drop from Tim, who said I didn't like the way the Tyler O'Neill situation played out, right? Like how Oli handled it. Tim's not alone. There's some Cardinals fans that felt that way. Here's the deal, guys. We have it on good authority that message was delivered to Tyler O'Neill in spring training.
Yes,
you saw the reaction to something they had already talked about.
Correct.
And there was players in that clubhouse that said, "Thank you, Oli." Yeah. So if you didn't like the way it was handled, know that Oli didn't just go to the podium that night and throw Tyler O'Neill under the bus. This was something that they had discussed already.
Yeah, that, as I said, Jamie, you've sat in meetings and I've had poor games and poor performances. The coach talks to you about it. It's not something that is new. And if effort is ever in question, then we got a whole set of different problems, because effort should never be questioned. Maybe you get beat. You know, I got to block Mario Williams. Hey, his arms are longer than me. He's probably going to beat me and get to Ben. Mm-hmm. If I got to take on somebody else, sometimes you get beat by the player, but it's not because you didn't try. And I think in that moment, the effort of Tyler O'Neill was questioned, and that should never be a question that you have for any teammate, for any of your players. And so I'm sure, as you said, they had that conversation. I didn't have an issue with Tyler O'Neill because we all have eyes and could see that he was not running at top speed.
Totally.
No question, no doubt, no wonder. You didn't have to wonder, is that as fast as he can? Hell no, it's not.
Well, now we've one of the fastest guys in all of Major League Baseball.
We've seen him run. So there was no question there. So that was a conversation that they have had in the past, and I didn't have an issue with Oli directly going after O'Neill in that moment.
And I wonder if it's a different conversation if the Cardinals end up out of that moment playing better and they end up making the playoffs, right? Do we go back to that situation and we look at that situation and say,
look how he handled it.
Look how he handled it. Mm-hmm. This team went into a great direction, but now since we have hindsight's 2020, right? We can point at that specific moment and be like, well, this is where the team fell apart.
Marsh, you're absolutely right. We go on the results, what happened, and then we like to paint a nice narrative, and then we go from there.
We did that yesterday with Dan Campbell.
And we were right. That's the difference, you know? We were right about Campbell.
Yeah.
It wasn't just hindsight and a narrative.
It's a good point.
Yeah, thank you. Carey? Nope. Moving on. It's tonight a must-win for the Blues. Jamie, you brought up a pretty interesting point about how much we're about to find out about this Blues team earlier. We'll dive back into that next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you're a man that is struggling with urinating, I have a solution for you. Well, I don't have a solution. My friends at Mint STL have a solution. If you are straining while urinating, maybe you're waking up multiple times at night to try to go to the restroom but are unable to go. If this is you, you could be suffering from BPH. And as I said, my friends at the Midwest Institute for Non-Surgical Therapy have the solution. Dr. Akinwande has the solution. The part that I want you to hear is non-surgical. This procedure is minimally invasive. If you've talked to doctors about this issue, you know that the procedure can be kind of hectic, but Mint STL offers a procedure that has lower risk of complications, no hospital stays, no sutures, scarring, or general anesthesia, and relief from the uncomfortable symptoms that I mentioned above. And it allows you to resume normal activities typically within a couple of days, all while feeling better and feeling relieved. The most important part of the procedure is it's covered by most insurances. So get out, get going, feel better. Reach out to mintstl.com today to schedule your appointment. That's MINTSTL.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
Tonight at 7 o'clock, the Blues will host the Blue Jackets. We'll have the pregame for you at 6 o'clock right here on 101 ESPN and your home of the Blues, Blues Radio Network. Jamie, you had made an interesting comment earlier about how...
Yeah, I did.
Well, you made several throughout the course of the first hour. But
appreciate that.
The one that really stood out, Jamie, was how you said, we're about to find out a lot about this team tonight. They're playing the Blue Jackets, who have struggled. They're missing several pieces. They have not been a good team overall, especially on the road. So why are we about to find out more about this Blues team tonight than perhaps we have during the 5-game winning streak?
Well, for me, it's all about the winning mentality. So you've won 5 in a row. You've scratched and clawed and done everything you've had to do. You've won 3 overtime games. You've come from behind a couple of times. Like, you've beat the number 1 team in the NHL at the time, the Vancouver Canucks. Like, all of that stuff is easy to get amped up for. It's not easy to have a winning mentality when you play a lesser team. It's not easy to have that winning mentality when you're headed off to the Bahamas or Mexico or wherever, or just going to spend the break with a bunch of family, go back to Canada, whatever it is. You shouldn't be thinking beyond the game. And winning teams don't ever think about anything else except winning whatever game they're playing. Whoever's on the schedule is dead meat. That's it. We're done. First place, they're done. Last place, now we're really going to pound them. Like, it's not going to be like, I'm going to get my points tonight. Maybe get a couple of helpers. Feel pretty good about myself. No, I'm going to block a damn shot. I'm going to hit a guy. I'm going to take a hit. I'm going to make a play so that we can go down and score a goal. And I don't care who scores it. We'll win the game. So that's why, to me, this is such an important game. It's not a gut check. It's more of a mindset check for me. And I know that Drew Bannister feels the same way. I said it earlier. His direct quote was, I told the players that the All-Star break starts following the game. Yeah. And to be ready to go. So I'm looking for the Thomas line, all 3 of them. I'm looking for the Shen line, all 3 of those guys, to lead the way. Those are your best players. Those are your top 6 forwards. And, of course, your top 4 defensemen tonight will be Parayko, Leddy, Krug, and Kessel. Tyler Tucker back in the lineup tonight. He was recalled. Brunovich out. MRI yesterday. He'll be out till following the All-Star break. But your top guys, your leaders, show me in the first couple of shifts of the game how this team's going to play. Show me, set the tone.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking
for.
Well,
that's... I was going to say that's what they have been doing, but really the LA game they didn't. They battled back, and there's been some other games where they battled back. But I think you're right. When you're playing a Columbus team that, as you noted before, is coming off a game in Seattle, now they have to face a team in the Blues that has won 5 straight, that has been dynamic on the power play. You're going to get Binnington again tonight. Everything's stacked. The odds are stacked against you. Do not toy around with this team, giving it hope that if it stays in for 2 periods, it can beat you in the third. Bury them early, like Nashville did last night to Ottawa when they got a 3-0.
No, that didn't work out very well.
Anthony Soros, I'll learn your name when you don't blow a 3-0 lead.
Juice.
Yeah, the juice was
not loose.
No, well, he was loose last night, a little too loose. Loose in net.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. I think the mindset for tonight has to be take care of your business. And when you are playing a team that is not good, a team that is struggling, at the bottom of the conference on the eastern side, they are a team that you could take care of business and should take care of business of, but you have to go out there and put your foot down from the moment the puck is dropped. And if you don't, if you allow a team that has no business playing with you to play in this game, that's when things kind of get away from you, because anything can happen. You said when you play terrible teams or teams that aren't good, they're not in the places you expect them to be. You're like, what the hell is he doing there? It's not right, but it works sometimes, and bad things tend to happen. So for me, this streak has been outstanding. They've played really well. They have won in, I think, every way they can. They've come back in games. They've had the lead in games. They've lost the lead and had games tied up and had to go and finish and find a way to win, where earlier in the season that happens, they lose that game. This is probably a 1-4 streak, a game you win 1 and lose 4, but they have found ways to continuously win. And so hopefully, this will give us an idea of what this team is going into the All-Star break and looking forward to the second half.
The last time you played the Columbus Blue Jackets, here's how it lined up for you. You started off that week in Vegas. You won in overtime. You played Vegas here. You lost 6-3. You were ahead in that game. You lost 6-3. Mm-hmm. Now you've got Columbus and Chicago on the weekend, that 2 winnable games. You lost 5-2 to the Blue Jackets, and you lost 3-1 to the Blackhawks.
Ouch.
So if I'm Coach Drew Bannister, although he wasn't head coach at the time, doesn't matter. The team lost 5-2 the last time they played these guys. The last time you played this team, you took them lightly. I was there. I saw it. You took them lightly. They came out and put the boots to you. What does it look like today? What are we going to leave the building feeling like tonight? Are we going to be like, man, we let that one slip away? Or are we going to be like, yeah, that's how we do it? We're 6 in a row. I wish we didn't have the break, because I'd like to go 7, 8, 9. Obviously you can't do that, but that's the mentality that I want. I want that. Like, nothing is ever enough. When you have those guys that are never satisfied, man, like, it's infectious with the group. And quite honestly, CD, like,
it's a greed.
When you have those guys, like, you feel compelled to, like, match that. Mm-hmm. Like, that guy's never satisfied.
Yeah.
Like, screw that guy. Yeah. I can work harder than him. Mm-hmm. I can. Why coach always giving him a pat on the back? I want a pat on the back.
Yeah.
It becomes contagious in a good way. And I think winning does that. When you have a team that finds ways to win, in which they have, like, losing is contagious. Like, it's almost like anything that can go wrong does go wrong. Kick off your skate. God, come on. It never feels like it's good. But when it's going well, it might kick off your skate and go into the opposing teams. And they're like, didn't mean to do that.
That's 100% right.
It happens. So it's just they are finding ways to win, and it becomes contagious. So you want to keep that feeling going and have that all-star break to be able to rest, recoup, get your mind, rested and acclimated for the second half, and be ready to roll on a 6-game winning streak as opposed to going 5-1.
Yeah, no kidding. This is a good opportunity for them.
It is.
5 in a row, bad Columbus team coming to town. Put your heel to them, and let's go. Go into the all-star break, feeling great. You come out refreshed, rejuvenated, and you've got a clear mission. And you know what it takes to get on a hot streak. You have to play outstanding special teams, which they have. You have to do a lot of the dirty things in front of the net. get that secondary scoring, and then, yes, continue to play well defensively, in net.
Yeah.
So you have the blueprint now. Do it for one more game, 3 more periods, go into the All-Star break, enjoy it, and then you can come out ready to go.
That's a big game, too, for Tyler Tucker. We just talked about him briefly, but he was sent down to the minors for 2 weeks conditioning. Prior to that, he had been healthy, scratched a number of games. Matthew Kessler kind of came in and took his job. And now Drew Bannister, the way he worded it at the time was, I like a left shot, right shot. That's why Tyler Tucker's not playing right now, because he's a lefty, and so was Perunovic at the time. So now you can back up from the minors, and there is an injury to another player, Perunovic. Don't know how serious that's going to be. But you have an opportunity to find your way back into this lineup. What does that look like tonight? Yeah, I'm anxious to see what he brings to the table. I'm anxious to see if he comes back with a little bit of anger in his game, because nobody, whether it's conditioning, air quotes, or not, you're sent down to the minors.
Yeah.
You shouldn't like that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a good feeling.
No, not at all.
So I'm anxious to see, what he brings to the table with his game tonight. Also, guys, did you see that Craig Berube going to be on TNT this week?
Is he?
Craig Berube, the chief, is joining the panel for the Kings Predators game or whatever. They got the coach on there, so it's gonna be fun. I mean, he's
talking about Drew Saros.
Chief was on with us every week.
He's
good with the
great.
media.
He's
I think he'll be great at this.
He's got a great personality. He plays well. Like when he came out with us, obviously he knew you, Jamie, so that helped. But there were times too when you weren't here, and we had an opportunity to talk to him, and he was same guy.
Yeah.
And that is the best part about Chief, and that's what his players say about him too. You're going to get the same guy, win, lose. You know what the expectations are. I think he'll be fantastic on TV.
Oh yeah.
Top shelf.
It'd be interesting to see his interactions, because the head coach and him, it's never far behind. So what I'm anxious to see, like, if someone disagrees with him on the panel, because Rick Tocchet, he's basically replacing Rick Tocchet, who was on there. And Rick Tocchet used to get into it with some of the guys too, because they'd be like, "Oh, I think you're wrong." He'd be like, "No, I'm absolutely right." So I think it can be. So I think it's going to be fun to see it.
Did the Cardinals bring in veteran leadership because of a poor mindset of a couple of players in 2023?
Probably.
We'll go back to some of the comments that Oli made to Xavier Scruggs next on 101 ESPN. So we've been talking about Oli Marmol and the conversation that you had with Xavier Scruggs, which you can find online if you want to. But we've been playing the audio throughout and kind of breaking things up and some of the comments that Oli made. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Let's get to this. Here's Marmol on having high achieving mentality with some of the players when some of those said players had kind of a mediocre mentality.
The toughest part in any clubhouse is when you have high achieving mentality and then you have certain players that have a mediocre mentality. It's tough to get everybody on the same page. So we often talk about, man, we want to create a culture that pushes you up or pushes you out. Mm-hmm. And all year we felt like we were trying to push everyone in the same direction. Yeah. And at times you have to hit the reset button. And that's what this offseason was. I feel really good about it. We brought in some really, really good personalities that know how to lead. Guys that have been around the league that aren't going to be wide-eyed, that understand what winning looks like, what understands the high and the lows look like, and don't ride that emotional roller coaster. So the toughest thing was probably that. And I think we're going to be a lot better for it. Sometimes it takes getting punched in the mouth to be able to head in the right direction. And we experienced that.
This is just another example, guys, that this offseason wasn't just about finding three pitchers or filling needs. This was about changing out some of the players in the clubhouse as well.
High achievers versus not so high achievers. Like
Have you? Did you ever see the clip? Like sometimes you'll see it on Instagram with Nick Saban.
Yeah,
when he's talking about high achieving players and how they don't get along with. I forget what he said.
I forget what, but it's a certain type of player that high achievers don't get along with, and vice versa.
Because we'll just call them low achievers. So the low achievers don't like the high achievers because they're always being pushed. Right. They don't want to work, and the high achievers don't want to drag along. Basically, the low achievers. He's like, you'll never develop chemistry that way. If that's what Oli's talking about, that makes a lot of sense to me.
And now I want to know who. Because
who'd they get rid of?
Well, you think in terms of trading or
anything? Jordan
Montgomery, you think he's not a high achiever?
Okay, I didn't mean everybody.
Okay, Jack Flaherty, you don't think he's a high achiever?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I do.
I don't. I mean, he plays Major League Baseball. That's an achievement. But
not that.
Is he a top three in anybody's rotation right now? No. So, therefore, he's an average achiever.
So you think it's a mental thing for him? Tyler O'Neill?
Don't get me started.
He might be one.
What about Genesis Cabrera? I mean, you got to go back to last year, but that was one of the first players they traded.
But see, I thought Genesis
went on to be lights out after that.
I thought he did
really good.
I thought he did well.
But if you're trying to develop a clubhouse.
I don't think he was a middle of the road or average mindset type of player. It's like you said, he did have some success.
But even if he's high achieving though, that still doesn't mean he fit in the clubhouse.
Yeah, you can be a good player and have a poor attitude.
Oh, you can be a good player and be an absolute you know what.
Exactly.
I've been with a handful of those guys. Unbelievable player, but what a
And that doesn't mean you have a high achieving mindset. You could have that mindset of, I am good. My skill sets are good. I don't need anybody else telling me what to do because I've made it. I've made it to the highest level.
Or my skill set is this. I want a certain role. I want a role. I want a bigger role, whatever.
Oh, okay. So the pieces are starting to come together because that would mean that if you have teammates like that, you usually have one or two guys that can grab that guy and say, hey, come on, man. Like, if you have the guy that's the extremely talented jerk, there's a guy in that locker room or in that clubhouse and grab him. Hey, tighten up. Let's go. Yep. And he'll listen. Normally.
For the most part.
Every now and then
you get one who won't, and you're like, I can only beat the crap out of him so many times.
No saving this guy.
Some of them you can't. But for the most part, those guys will fall in line with the leader of the team. So that means that this clubhouse lacked that, which is why they signed Matt Carpenter.
Yep, and Lance Lynn, and
yeah. But I believe Lynn and Gibson and those guys. Like, it's not that I don't think Matt Carpenter's going to contribute. I'm not expecting him to contribute in a big way. Just not. If he does, great. If all of a sudden Matt Carpenter from the New York Yankees shows up and he's doing that stuff, by all means, I'll be thrilled. Okay? But I don't expect Matt Carpenter to be a difference maker on the field. I expect him to be a difference maker with the clubhouse and the culture that's going on here. I expect Lance Lynn and Gibson they better make a difference. Mm-hmm. If they were just brought in to be the sandpaper and the veteran, they're like 2-3 in your rotation. You got problems.
It's hard to be sandpaper with a 6.8 ERA.
Yeah,
you know?
And giving up a home run every time you're up there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. No, it totally does. Yeah, you have to perform. I mean, you guys have said this too with being former professional athletes. If you are trying to lead and you're not performing well, that's not going to go. It doesn't work.
Not really.
Because guys need to trust you.
Yeah.
You can't be a leader when people don't trust you. I think that his comments are just as much about the leadership or lack thereof last year compared to this season, and they feel as though that they have corrected that. We'll see.
And when you don't have leaders, or when you don't have players that are leaders that are not performing, they have to set an example of what does it look like when this player is slumping? How do they go about their day-to-day business to get out of that slump? Are they pouting? Mm-hmm. Are they holding their head down? Like, what does that look like?
Are they dragging other teammates down?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that happens.
I just like how you said it. I just love how you said that. You go, we're dragging, like you were so specific, dragging other people down.
I've seen it happen.
And then you
so many
stopped
times.
and I looked at you. You go, I've seen it.
Well, now I want to know who the players are.
Exactly.
Just guys get in a funk or they start doing stupid stuff. Most of the guys don't do stupid stuff on their own.
Yeah.
They drag somebody with them. They got a buddy, a roommate, or whatever.
It becomes contagious.
Yeah.
Like losing and having that mindset becomes contagious where guys are like, well, this stinks.
Mm-hmm.
And another guy like, yeah, it does. And then another, yeah, it does, doesn't it? And now you got 3 or 4 guys that are like, this isn't great.
Yeah.
And those 4 guys, they can bring the morale of the process down.
Is that what you guys think that he was talking about with last year when he mentioned how he was trying the whole, not that he was specifically, but everyone was trying to get on the same page and moving in the same direction?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not in that clubhouse. I can't speak to what or who was the problem, but clearly there was a problem. You lost 91 damn games. It was a problem. It wasn't. I mean, they have Major League Baseball talent on the roster. They just, for whatever reason, weren't on the same page and couldn't get on the same page and couldn't pitching, hitting, couldn't coincide at the same time game after game. It just was not together. And I don't know how or what is required in that moment to pull guys together and say, hey, we all need to figure this out. Mm-hmm. It was bad last year. And so it has to be better than that.
Yeah.
And it starts with the guys in the clubhouse, I guess. I mean, the manager's still the same. Some of the players have changed. So we'll see.
Do you guys have faith in Oli? Last year of his contract. Again, this is about production. We can sit here, we can talk about his comments, we can talk about what he plans to do and his style and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about winning now.
Yeah.
It's got 1 year.
I don't know, man. I'm torn because his first year as the manager, I thought he did pretty well. Mm-hmm. He'd never managed a major league team before, and I know there's the crowd out there, Lisa, I'm talking to you, that is all about, like, he has no experience. He's never did. But how do you get experience?
You got to do it.
At some point, you have to get the job.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Schilt didn't have any experience either, yet everybody thinks Mike Schilt was awesome and that he was wrong because he had philosophical differences. So you can't argue one side of it and not accept the other side of it. Mm-hmm. And last year was not good for Oli. It wasn't good for the team, but was he given a roster that wasn't sufficient? Did he have players that didn't match the motto of the team or the culture? This is it for me. This is the tell-all season for him. I have faith in Oli to manage the team the right way. I don't know if I have 100% faith in the players to execute the right way.
I wonder, and Oli talks about using the people around him, his coaching staff, and we saw the coaching staff from the first year completely change. I mean, there's some people that were still part of the coaching staff, but Skip Schumacher left, right? Mike Maddox left. So the coaching staff changed, and he talks about having conversations. And of course, he's not going to be the guy who just, whatever, like I'm going to make this decision on my own. Like he needs those people to have conversations and keep each other accountable. I wonder if the coaching staff around him is not the right fit or was not the right fit, and that's why they brought Daniel Descalso in. They're trying to get Yadier Molina back in. And let's not forget, you had Albert Pujols that was there and Yadier Molina in that first year also being a soundboard for him.
Yeah. He also, in fairness to him, and look, we've talked about this with Matt Holliday. Matt decided that he wanted to make sure that he could be there for his family, and that's the reason why he eventually said, all right, I'm gonna pass on being the bench coach. Mm-hmm. Who knows how different things are if Matt Holliday's on the bench last year? To your point, Marsh. And I don't think they go from a 91 loss team to a 91 win team. But to your point about the coaching staff, that wasn't the one he necessarily thought he was going to have. Now you still got to work with the guys that you do, but there's a reason why, like you said, they brought in different guys here, different voices. And they're brought in for specific reasons. Whatever it is, I mean, Daniel Descalso was brought in for a specific reason. Hopefully that coaching staff turns things around. Are you sold? We're going to play that next. If you have an Are You Sold, you can send it into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Are You Sold next in the Fast Lane.
Pure Performance, your one-stop shop for all things aftermarket accessory. They have a 25,000 square foot facility located in St. Peter's, right off of Highway 70. And they have everything that you could ever imagine. They've got under the hood stuff. They've got computer chips and all sorts of other fun things that you can add to your vehicle to increase the performance. Also on the exterior, they've got running boards, light kits, the big tires, the rims, the lift kits, all of the above, and they do a fantastic job of making sure that, one, whatever vehicle you drive, which could be any vehicle, whether it's a car, an SUV, a pickup truck, Jeep or Bronco, those are always fun, or even a minivan. They have accessories for anything you're driving. If it's an old car, you want to spice it up, please head over to Pure Performance and talk to their representatives. Walk in. Please ask for Shelby. Tell Shelby that Jamie Rivers sent you in, and she's going to find out what vehicle you're driving and what you're looking to do and what your budget is. And then Pure Performance will put together the best package available for you. And then the technicians do their magic, and your vehicle looks incredible. You will absolutely love it. So please, again, stop by the facility in person, check it out, or visit them online at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5:30. So stay tuned for that interview. Once again, Blues Blue Jackets tonight right here on 101 ESPN. We have Are You Sold coming up next. So if you have an Are You Sold statement, send it our way to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Are You Sold coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Time to play Are You Sold in the Fast Lane with Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Here is Andrew Marsh.
All right, guys, BK and Ferrario today, they were talking about Brock Purdy and how many quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are better than Brock Purdy. Of course, Brock Purdy and the 49ers will take on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But my question is, are you sold on Brock Purdy being a top 15 quarterback in the NFL?
Absolutely.
I'm totally
Absolutely.
Carey has no respect
Top
for
15?
him at all.
15.
And quite honestly, Carey,
It's almost half the league.
It's one of the things
Three,
I question about you
5, 6,
is your lack of
7,
appreciation for Brock Purdy.
8, 9, 10, 11,
Now he's just counting. He's ignoring. He won't even acknowledge my insult to him.
12, 13,
I don't know.
14, 15. I can give
You
you
got 15 more?
I can give you 15.
Better?
You want me to name them?
Oh my God.
I do.
This
Josh
disgusting.
Allen.
Okay.
Tua? What?
Tua over Brock Purdy?
Carey.
Did you all not watch Tua play?
Yeah,
this year?
I did.
I did. I
I'm
saw him in the
asking because-
playoffs.
Yeah, what? It was 0.
Hey,
it was
listen,
minus 35.
You literally are on the Chiefs bandwagon because you said
Yes.
Brock Purdy has been terrible other than one drive and one
It
half
was
in the
minus
playoffs.
35
Marsh,
in Kansas City.
You
Not
was
Winfield,
nothing
the
but a
temperature.
game manager, too.
Marsh, you asked me top 15. I'm not
take-
ridiculous
it's
just
the
because I'm
same
Chief
guy.
Nation here.
Tua. You wouldn't take Tua over Brock Purdy?
No.
No.
Okay, well, I'll finish. You two are crazy.
That's terrible.
Dak?
That's a black check mark.
I think
for
the
you.
conversation starts at Dak.
Jalen Hurts.
I'll take Hurts.
Kirk Cousins.
I'll take Brock Purdy.
Wow.
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 I would, too.
Jordan Love.
I'll take Purdy right now.
What? He was better than him in that game.
Quiet.
It's one game.
Joe Burrow.
Burrow.
Wow, come on, Carey.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar.
I'm just running the names. CJ Stroud.
Stroud.
Well, yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence. I'll take Lawrence. Desmond Ritter.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert.
Oh, Herbert.
Did I say Jared Goff?
No.
Jared Goff.
I take Goff. Have to.
Matthew Stafford.
Yes. Stafford.
Patrick Mahomes.
Well, that's
Ooh,
my
that's a
guy.
tight one.
How many do you have right now?
I don't have enough
lost count.
fingers, but maybe
You have
around
13,
12
minus
or
the
something.
two that they didn't take, which was Kirk Cousins and
I would take Purdy over
Jordan
Cousins.
Love.
Yeah.
That's what got me to 15.
There's more out there too.
Nah, Aaron Rodgers, but we don't have to count him.
I take Purdy over Aaron Rodgers. That
He's
guy
got
can't
one
even walk
leg
around
right
right
now.
now.
Okay, a healthy
57
Aaron
years
A
Rodgers.
healthy Aaron
Oh,
Rodgers.
you didn't say that.
If we're
Right
projecting the quarterbacks for next season, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Rodgers.
Okay,
Rodgers
so
is a Super Bowl winner. and MVP.
That's 14 to 15 quarterbacks that are better that you would take over Brock Purdy right now. This doesn't mean that Brock Purdy isn't good. Doesn't mean that Brock Purdy is not he's in the Super Bowl, so clearly he's good enough to win a Super Bowl because he's in it. He's there. But if you were, the fact that you said no to Tua is mind-boggling. But
I mean,
the 14 to 15
what big
other
game has
quarterbacks.
Tua won yet? Purdy's won. Purdy already has what? How many playoff wins?
Football is a team game, fellas.
He's already got
We're
4.
talking about
And
quarterbacks.
what does a quarterback do in the playoffs, right?
They win football games unless you're
Some of them
guys.
do. Some of them do. Some
Josh
of them
Allen
don't.
hasn't won any games in the Super Bowl. You took him over Brock Purdy.
Josh Allen still has a bunch of playoff
You
wins.
took him over. He hasn't won anything.
Josh Allen, too, though, is a freaking specimen.
Dak Prescott hasn't
Tua's
won
not a
anything.
specimen.
Dak Prescott hasn't won anything in the playoffs.
That's where the conversation starts for me.
C.J. Stroud has won nothing in the playoffs.
He won one.
One game.
Yeah.
Not more than Brock.
He's 1-1.
You took him over Brock, too. So the
C.J. Stroud is
conversation
a
can't be
specimen.
It can't be based off of
My
playoff
Super Bowl
wins.
champion Brock Purdy is going to make believers out of all of you.
Trevor Lawrence, how many playoff games has he won?
1.
You took him over him, too.
I didn't.
How many has Justin Herbert won?
None.
0.
You took him over him, too.
Herbert is a machine.
So playoffs don't matter.
They matter when it comes to certain guys like Tua, who's just as limited as Brock Purdy. Yet we don't want to talk about that because he was the 6th overall pick.
He was limited. I think they had a really good year, and they struggled against some really
Tua's
good
limited.
teams.
Brock Purdy is limited. They have limitations. They have the same limitations for that matter.
If Tua
Purdy will move.
Tua is on the San Francisco roster, are they as successful as that team was this year?
I don't think so.
I disagree.
Well, that's fine, Carey.
Yeah,
We're just going to have to
agree
disagree. We're still brothers, though.
We are. Jordan Love, really?
I
Seriously?
like Jordan Love, but right now,
Come on.
The way that I look at this, if you put any of those other quarterbacks
may have
on that
fudged
roster,
that one.
put those quarterbacks on the 49ers, are they better? Do they elevate that offense even more than Brock Purdy?
I don't think Tua does. I think you can make the case for Jordan Love. And Kirk Cousins would put up incredible numbers, Marsh. You know that. You put him in Shanahan's offense, old Kirky boy, he's winning the MVP. But when I need a throw on 4th and 7, I can't take the 2-yard dump off. You know what I mean?
From Kirk?
From Kirky. I need somebody to throw.
18 to Justin Jefferson against Buffalo?
I can't have my quarterback go all Sam
One
Bradford.
time doesn't make it a thing.
I can't have my quarterback go Derek Carr.
Clearly.
You know?
That guy, he's not
I
a part of the
didn't mention Derek
conversation.
Carr. I left him out there.
Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. When the game is on the line,
quarterback off.
Who's my favorite
Shaky
quarterback?
Bakey.
Well, I mean, come
You
on.
take Bakey over him?
No.
Okay, I left him off. I didn't think so.
Who would?
Anthony loved Shaky Bakey this year. He stopped calling him Shaky Bakey.
I gave
He
him
just
some
called
credit.
him Baker Mayfield.
You just call him Bakey, I think.
Yeah, he baked.
Shaking and bake, and I helped.
He turned into shake and bake there at the end, though, didn't he? I'm going to win this game. Interception. No, you're not. All right, what do we got?
From the 636, are you sold that the Cards' offseason moves sufficiently rectified the stated clubhouse cultural issues? From the 636, not going to lie, the more they talk about it, the less sold I am. But man, I hope so.
Am I sold on that? Yeah, I think bringing the guys that they brought in will solidify that clubhouse. Plus, you have to factor in that part of the issue last year. So you had an offseason to correct it if you're Oli Marmol and John Mozeliak. So I'd say yes.
My question would be is how much, because a pitcher plays every 5th day. They're not playing every single starting pitcher. How much impact do they have actually on the clubhouse culture?
I think they probably have quite a bit.
Does it depend on
Because
who
they
it is?
only
It
play
depends on
every
who it
5
is.
days, I think that they're more involved in what's going on.
Okay.
They're
just
not
think-
as busy doing, I don't know, other things.
I just think of like Chris Carpenter. I think Chris Carpenter would walk into the clubhouse and if something needed to be said, it would be said.
They
And
also
people
had
would
some
follow.
other players that played every day that could say something as well.
Very true.
Yeah, I don't know if
Very
that
true.
matters that much in that sport, Carey. I know what you're saying.
I'm just wondering,
I think it
know-
would matter more if it's like
totally
a
acknowledge what you're
goaltender.
saying.
Like
Is a guy that barely plays, what kind of
Yeah.
voice can he have? But I think it's different when, especially
you're
if you're
the ace of a roster.
or you're
Yeah.
part of the top 5 pitchers, like you're there to do a job. And if you're a guy like Lance Lynn, you got a presence to you.
Right.
Where as soon as you walk in, people are already, oh boy, is he going to carve me up or not? You know, like I don't know. I think I think they'll have a good impact on the team.
I hope so.
Sonny Gray's attitude from the moment that he signed and talked about, he just loves baseball. He's all in. It's like, I think he's already, if nothing else, he's exuding this baseball before everything mentality. And Lance Lynn, we know we're getting with him. Then Gibby's a great guy. He's a solid veteran. He's been around. I think he'll be the guy that kind of puts his arm around players after Lance Lynn has a word with them.
Good cop, back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He beat you down. You're okay, Paul.
This next one is thanks to the 636. Are you sold that Daniel Descalso will help Brendan Donovan and Mason win? He seems like he was that type of player, a Brendan Donovan type, when he was playing for the Cardinals.
I think anybody look, Daniel Descalso carved himself out a good career. He wasn't a star player. He wasn't somebody that was always a starter, but he's somebody that always had to grind. And a lot of the times, you've mentioned this with Gratz before, Jamie, a lot of the times, the best players, they can't communicate to current players what they were doing because they just did it. They were incredible.
Yeah.
The guys that had to grind a little bit more to stay in the league, they typically make really good head coaches or really good assistant coaches. Jamie, I think you're a phenomenal coach. You're somebody that look, you better
know the damn details if you're not a superstar.
Seriously, but you knew what it took to stay in the league. There were teams that wanted you consistently, whether trading for you or signing you. You stuck around for a long time because you had the skill set and you also had the mindset of, I have to figure out what my role is on that team. There is tremendous value with that when you're an assistant coach. Like, hey, listen, kid, I know what it takes to stay at this level.
Yeah, I've been there.
You're not doing it.
It does speak a lot, Carey, and you know this too, is when a guy has been there, when he's walked a mile in your shoes. And I'm not talking about like Wayne Gretzky or anything like that, because Gretz has no idea what it's like to be in my shoes. First of all, he probably wouldn't wear my shoes. They're not good enough for him, okay? And I don't blame him. But when you have a guy that, like Craig Berube, why do you think he had so much success? Steve Ott, why do you think the players relate to him? Mike Van Ryn. Like, these are guys that had good careers, but they had to battle every single day. They had to know what the systems were. They had to be about blocking shots and doing all the little things right. So if a coach comes up to me and says, hey, man, puts his arm around and says, I know what you're going through right now. Let me help you. I'm going to listen.
Absolutely, yeah. Because ultimately, you want somebody that's going to care about your success. And if a coach shows that, then you're going to be willing to invest in him.
And details do matter, Anthony, especially in an investigation.
No doubt. We learned that.
Yeah, we did.
And a lot of people that are fictionally dead right now also got that message.
They certainly did. From the 618.
You guys not reach her yet or no?
No, not.
Okay, you'll get there.
I haven't got there yet.
You'll get there.
From the 618, are you sold? Addressing clubhouse issues is a red herring to distract you from the fact that the Cardinals did not do enough to address actual problems with the team.
I could separate the two. I can compartmentalize the two. I could say both things were issues. This roster still isn't good enough, but maybe they fixed some of the clubhouse culture. Understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying, oh, they fixed the clubhouse, we're good. I've been criticized over the last 2 weeks because I'm being too negative about the Cardinals roster. So clearly, I don't think that this roster is good enough beyond maybe winning the NL Central. So no, I don't think it's a red herring to say to look at it and say, well, they fixed the clubhouse, we're good, and ignore some of the other issues that they have. But you do have to fix the clubhouse.
That bothers me, though. It still bothers me. That it got that out of hand. That you had to bring in clubhouse culture type of players to help fix it. Because how do you let it get that way in the first place?
That's what I said a couple weeks ago. I mean, how bad did it get that you're overcorrecting now with this Matt Carpenter edition and all this other stuff? Like, it feels like you're panicking almost.
91 lost bad. I would.
Oh yeah,
do just about anything.
That's what we see. I'm talking about what we didn't see.
Yeah, no, good
How
point.
bad was that?
Good point. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Jamie's keys to victory. How many do you guys want? 32?
Let's get 6.
6?
6
Can we
keys
get
to
6?
victory.
Number.
Oh boy.
Well, the Blues are going for their 6th straight victory.
See what you did there.
Let's get 6 keys to the game.
You sick son of, I like that. 6. keys to victory plus. Jamie's like, I got to think about three. I got to think three more.
I got plenty of those.
Talk about the.
Let me tell you about
Talk
something.
about getting in front of the net. That one's always a good one. And the first goal of the game next on 101 ESPN.
If you are currently in the market looking for car insurance, home insurance, or maybe you just have a question overall about any kind of insurance coverage, well, the weather has been active out there. Maybe you want to make sure that you have proper insurance if there's a flood or something like that happens, or your roof, or anything like that at all. Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency is the place to call. Tracy Bibb's awesome. She's going to take a look at all of your current insurance policies, going to tell you, first of all, if you're covered properly, and then she's going to battle for you to get the best price available, but not at the expense of making sure that you're taken care of. That's the one thing I learned with Tracy Bibb is she cares about her clients, and she treats them like family, and that's what she's done with me and my kids, who are also young drivers. She has been there every step of the way, and it's not a 1-800 number. You're getting somebody from the Bibb Agency who's going to get to know you, get to know your situation, understand your policy needs, all that stuff. And all you have to do to get all of this great stuff is give her a call at 314-328-4260. That's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
right, time for Jamie's 6 keys to victory tonight as the Blues go for 6 over the Blue Jackets.
All right. For me, the first one is stay focused. Be focused here tonight. You don't want to be thinking about the Bahamas or Mexico or going home to mom, dad, whatever it is. Stay focused on the task at hand tonight, and that's the Columbus Blue Jackets and getting the victory. Second one is pucks to the net. You haven't got enough pucks to the net. We heard all the numbers earlier. You're like 28th or 29th in total shots on goal here in your span of in the month of January. That's just not good enough. You need more pucks to the net, and it starts tonight. Be physical tonight. The Blue Jackets team is already beat up a little bit. I think that get out there, be physical. 2 things happen. 1, you start to take over the game. 2, you get yourself into the game. You're out there, you get a couple of hits in the first period. You feel like you're part of the game. If you sit back and you just sort of just kind of play, it's kind of what you're doing. You're not really doing anything. You're not affecting the game in a positive way. Key number 4 for me is defend the middle of the ice. They've got some guys who love to get there. They're not exactly the toughest guys in the league, but they like to get to the middle ice. They like to get to that better scoring opportunity. So defend the middle of the ice very well. Quick transition. Tonight, the Blue Jackets are depleted. Their defense core is not the best in the NHL. Their record speaks for itself. They're 15, 24, and 10 on the season, last place in the Eastern Conference. So for me, it's quick transition. Get it up the ice, get moving as fast as you possibly can. And special teams. Do well in the special teams. Win the special teams battle tonight, you win the game.
There you have it. Jamie's 6 keys to win to victory here for the Blues.
He could have did 60 more.
Yeah, he could have. He's always talking about, that's too many. Nah, not for our guy Jamie.
Easy.
Yeah. All right. First goal of the game.
Let's go, boys.
We need you to score more goals.
Get those loose pucks.
Thomas to Carey. Score! Goal!
No big deal. Game winner.
By the way, we do need a new Gauntlet contestant, so if you'd like to participate in the Gauntlet, you can. Just text in 314-399-9646. This is your Comfort Service text line. The word Gauntlet. You have an opportunity to take on either Marsh, Carey, or me, because Jamie is out for the rest of the show. All right, Jamie, I believe you have 3?
I think it's 3, yeah.
You have 3?
Yep.
You have 2, Carey, and Marsh and I stuck at 1?
Yeah,
okay.
Marshy's nodding his head, yeah.
Jamie.
Well, this guy's a streaky scorer, so I'm going with Jordan Kyrou. I think this is kind of a team that lines up for him to where he could get a lot of opportunities to get the puck, so I think he's going to score. Jordan Kyrou is my guy.
Thought long and hard about this. I mean, he doesn't have any points or any goals yet this year.
Oh, boy.
In his career. But it's the do factor, Jamie. You'll like this.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to go Matthew Kessel.
Oh, he's got a bomb, too.
I'm going to
if he shoots the puck, man, I'm telling you.
He shot one a couple of games ago. I'm like, that was a pretty good shot.
He can bring it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Matthew Kessel.
I like that.
First ever.
Showing some faith in the game.
Yeah. It's the do factor. It's got to happen at some point, right?
Why not?
Why not now?
Yeah.
Why not him? Why not me?
Why not you?
Yeah.
Why not?
Like I did that. All right, Marsh.
I'm going to go with a guy that has been pretty hot as of late. Scored the game-winning goal on Sunday in overtime. Braden Shin. First goal tonight.
Okay.
That's a good pick.
All right. I'm going to go with... This is tough, guys. This is tough. But you know what?
You guys going all
There's somebody that got moved up.
Oh.
There's somebody that moved from the 4th line up to the 3rd line. Actually, no, he stayed on the 3rd line. There's somebody that has stayed exactly on that 3rd line for a while now.
You trust him.
He's the only guy that's got a goal on that 3rd line. Give me Alexei Toropchenko tonight.
Toro?
Yeah. Because typically not the guys you think. So
That's why I went Matthew Kessel.
yeah, I feel you on that one.
Got to happen at some point.
I am going to go with somebody that has scored. And has scored of his last 5 games. But you know what, Carey? I love your
hungry,
thought
man.
process.
Yeah. That guy gets a lot of chances. His speed and his size and all that, he gets the chances. He's trouble burying them from time to time, but not tonight.
Not today. Jamie, I appreciate you using my notes, too.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
Make that explanation there on Alexei Toropchenko.
Yeah, no. I'm always looking to better myself, Anthony, and your notes is one simple way to do it.
That's right. Thanks, Jamie.
You should use mine sometime.
Well,
I make great notes.
you do, yeah. And drawings, too. I see you have certain drawings.
Well, you can't read very well, so I make sure there's pictures.
Just flip right
You
through
know me
those
well.
things, huh?
I know.
You know me well. Orange Reading Group.
Yep. That's it.
That's Jamie Rivers. He's out of here.
Fluffing that a little bit.
What? I actually...
You may not have gotten to the Orange Group
The
until
Orange
like the
Group
very
is-
end of the year, maybe.
The Orange Group was fine for me.
You're good, Anthony. I'll keep doing pictures.
Thank you. Jamie's going to head downtown right now. He's got Bally Sports Midwest coverage for tonight's Blues and Blue Jackets game. Jamie, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, we won't see you next week, but we'll see you the next couple of days.
Oh, do you want my play for tonight real quick?
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, you do
So
have one.
is minus 155 too much?
Yes.
Yes, it's got to be minus 150.
Yes, we've come to that agreement.
Nope, Carey
I
asked me
tried
that
a couple
last
of-
week.
And then he
Like-
said if you do 155, the next thing you'll be doing 165, and then we'll be at
Exactly.
the 180. And so, has to be 150 or lower.
Yeah, you
Carey.
fudged the
All
rules
of
on
a sudden,
this.
Carey's playing hardball. Just wait till he has one that's like
You already
155.
did, that's why.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's why you're angry.
They wouldn't let me do
Not
it.
angry at me. You're angry at the world.
Angry at the system. Doesn't seem right.
All right. Well, then I'll have to readjust some things here. I'll get it to you before I leave.
All right,
We'll
fair
get it to
enough.
you. We'll do it for you.
No.
Yeah, we did fine the last time.
Marcia, you're quick at this stuff. What's the goal total tonight? Blues game.
I have no idea. I haven't
6.5.
looked. Probably 6.5.
6.5.
Is it?
Let's see. Is it?
Yeah.
It is. 6.5.
6.5. You know what? I'm going to go with the over on that. Blues. All they do is win 4-3.
There
All
you
we
go.
do is win, 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 no matter what.
Yep.
Typically 4-3. Yeah, you're right.
3. So I'll go with the over at the Blues tonight.
Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter back here with you. We're joined by our great buddy, Stewie, from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I heard that the Federal Reserve is meeting. What should we expect?
You know what, Jamie? This is a very important time. Now, you got to remember, in our history, rates go up and down like a yo-yo. The Federal Reserve is meeting right now, and they have a challenge of whether they're going to cut the interest rates, keep them the same, or what they're going to do. We're going to find out tomorrow. If they say that things are going to get better and they're going to cut them, ultimately, rates will drop. But if they do, take advantage now. Don't wait, because new economic reports in the future can reverse that decision. It's like a yo-yo, up and down. Take advantage now, especially if you bought a house in the last 6 to 12 months. Refinance for free with the bagel loan. Get the lower rate. If they pop back up, you're safe. If they go back down, you can do it again. So take advantage while you can. Don't wait.
You heard the man. Call him. Give him a call right now. Stewie's always ready and available. If for some reason, you can't get a hold of him, you can always send him a text message because he hands out his personal cell phone number for a reason. It's 314-324-4440. Again, 314-324-4440. If you can't remember that number or you're driving around right now, you can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
sports source in St. Louis that matters. Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit mastor.com.
All right, we're having some phone difficulties right now, but we will play the Gauntlet here in a second. Marsha's trying to get Aaron on the line right now. Jamie Rivers is back for his water. Yeah. Jamie's got his suit on, looking good, ahead of tonight's game against the Blue Jackets. Again, we're trying to get the phone working for the Gauntlet. We'll have Aaron on once we have an opportunity. We've been talking throughout the course of the show about Oli Marmol and some comments that he made to Xavier Scruggs, whether or not that has changed your perspective on Oli ahead of this season. If it hasn't, and you're dead set against Oli being the manager long term, leave us a mic drop. Tell us why. We had some good mic drops so far from Chris and Tim, and I know Marsha's got Lisa in the holster, too. Lisa actually asked us a question related to Oli that we're going to get to a little bit later on. Yeah. So, again, leave us a mic drop.
The whether Oli wins, whether they win or not, is essentially what determines his future, I believe. Yep. I think we all are in agreement of that. You know, you go into you go into your final season not having a contract, and you're going to either win or go home, essentially, is what it boils down to.
Exactly. All right, so we're still having the phone difficulties here. So when we do have an opportunity to get Aaron on, we will play the Gauntlet here. Bad timing for the phone to go out, but it'll be fine.
Kind of how life goes.
Yeah.
It's how baseball goes.
That's correct. So some other news throughout the sports world. Going back to football for a second here. Former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley will interview for the Rams' defensive coordinator job on Wednesday,
Wasn't he
according to Ian Rappaport.
Isn't that where he came from?
That's where he came from, which makes sense. So Raheem Morris goes to Atlanta for the head coach spot. Brandon Staley, who was the Rams' previous defensive coordinator, he'll be interviewing. He knows the system. He knows McVay. Yeah. That would be a good landing spot, I think.
Good for him, as long as he doesn't have to call a game.
Yeah, no, that would be bad as a head coach. Yeah,
not great.
There will be a new head.
Good guy.
There will be a new OC for your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Who is that, Anthony?
The Pittsburgh Steelers have hired Arthur Smith.
Oh, where is he from, Anthony?
He's from Atlanta.
Oh, he was the head coach there
for 3 years. For 3 magical years.
Okay, so we got something to look. How excited should my Pittsburgh Steelers be about Mr. Arthur Smith?
Here's the thing, Carey. If you're, George Pickens,
good player,
Deontay Johnson,
another great receiver, love him.
Even like Najee Harris,
great running back, very good running back, 1,000 yards all 3 of his first year.
You should not be excited by this hire.
Oh no.
Now, if you're the backup tight end,
Darnell Washington.
If you're the Darnell Washington,
yeah,
is he?
Yeah, from Georgia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's there. But he's more like a blocking.
Well, he's going to have a huge impact on this offense.
Big role.
He certainly is. If you're like the 4-string wide receiver, you're good. Arthur Smith is here.
Calvin Austin.
There you go.
And I can't even remember the receiver that was with the Bears.
Chase Claypool?
No, he's not there. I don't know where the hell Chase Claypool
He wound up in Miami, but Miami buried him.
Yeah, they were like, no, this guy is everything we thought he was.
Mm-hmm. Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Carey, you got to be absolutely out of your mind. By the way, we're still trying to fix the phones here for the Gauntlet. You got to be out of your mind excited that Arthur Smith's going to be calling your plays next year.
Oh, yeah. Good fun. I don't know what to expect. I mean, when he was in Tennessee, they did pretty well with Ryan Tannehill, and the offense was catered. Yeah, that guy, he's not like he's going to be a Hall of Famer or anything. They did a really good job of calling plays. He did a really good job of calling plays, tailoring the offense to those guys. So, hopefully we get something. I mean, Matt Canada, I'm sure he's a great guy. Offensively, it was not great.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of cohesion there.
This is a situation where you look at it and say, it can't be worse.
How much worse can it be? I don't know. We'll see.
He'll be fine. You know, some guys are just coordinators.
I agree. Some guys.
Spags. I mean, Spags has carved out a great career as a coordinator. Multi-Super Bowl winner now.
Didn't do a great job as a head coach here.
No, not at all. And he hasn't got a second chance. But he won one with the Giants as a coordinator, which got him the Rams job.
Yeah.
And now he's a multi-Super Bowl winner with the Chiefs as well. Marsh, how we looking? No good still?
No bueno.
We have someone to come help us out. Our guy Drew. For those that are wondering, our phones. It's not letting take. It's not. We have Aaron on the line. He's been waiting. I feel really bad.
Aaron, we are trying to get to you as soon as possible.
It's just not letting us take him live.
Well, that's a shame.
So he's just sitting there waiting for the gauntlet to happen.
Well, that sucks. But Drew's here. He's got his Blues sweatshirt on, so he's ready to go. He's game ready for tonight. If you missed it earlier, Ben Johnson will not be going to the Commanders. He will not be going to the Seahawks. Tom Placero of NFL Network says the Lions have told the Commanders and Seahawks that Ben Johnson will remain with the team as Detroit's offense coordinator for 2024. ESPN's Adam Schefter said that Johnson's asking price, quote unquote, spooked some teams. Now, I don't know what the asking price was. I don't know.
What are coaches getting paid these days? Head coaches.
I mean, it's probably pretty standard.
I would assume
3-year deal,
especially for a first-time head coach.
Yeah.
What was he asking for? $10 million?
Maybe he just asked for something that he knew
that they weren't going to do.
Yeah, that nobody would agree to, so that he could stay in Detroit. He's going to have opportunities next year as well. Every coaching cycle in the NFL, you've got 6 or 7 opportunities. There will be more. There will be more head coaches fired next season, and there's going to be a lengthy list.
Who else? Who's on your list? Please don't say Nick Sirianni.
I think if Robert Saleh can't turn it around with the Jets, I think that will be an opening. I think if you are I don't think anybody in the AFC West would. I could see the Eagles letting go of Sirianni if things fall apart. I could see the Giants letting go of Brian Dable if things fall apart. I could see Matt Eberflus in Chicago losing his job.
And then you also have Dennis Allen in New Orleans.
How many is that right now? So even
that's
if
6.
That's 6?
I think you got counted 6.
I could see the Jets moving on.
Jets.
I could see the Giants,
Eagles.
the Eagles, the Bears.
That's 4.
The Saints.
5. Yeah. We're good?
I think we're good. 5. Time for the gauntlet?
I think so. Let's try it out.
Do we have Aaron?
What's up?
Hey!
Aaron, sorry. Drew, nice job. Drew, our engineer, coming in, saving us. Aaron,
amazing.
it's good to hear you.
Hey, same here. Same here.
Welcome into the Fast Lane. Welcome into the Gauntlet. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, or me today?
Let's go with you, Tony.
And he gave me the Tony.
He gave you the Tony.
All right. Hey, good luck to you. Hey, Ron.
Hey,
you
Ron.
too, sir.
All right.
All right, Aaron. There's Anthony's headed to the cone of silence. Get moving there, buddy. He's getting out of here. All right, Aaron, what are you looking for?
Probably baseball, but it's a crapshoot, so whatever.
All right, well, tell Marshy to spin that wheel. We'll see what you get.
Spin it, Marshy.
Let's see.
Oh, it's been a while.
Beautiful. Aaron, you got hockey.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
All right. Marsh is handing out the launch codes here. We're getting ready to roll and should be a good, high-low. All right. Here we go. Are you ready, Aaron?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Brendan Shanahan played 21 years in the NHL. He played the career most 716 games with the Detroit Red Wings. Which team did he play the second most games with?
Give me the options.
Is it the Hartford Whalers, the St. Louis Blues, or the New Jersey Devils?
I have no clue. Let's just go with the Blues.
Final answer?
Final answer, sorry.
All right. Question number 2. Which current NHL coach was the head coach for the last season of the existence of the Hartford Whalers?
Oh, jeez. Options.
Options are Rick Bowness, Lindy Ruff, or Paul Maurice.
Paul Maurice, final answer.
All right, Aaron, who was the first NHL team Rick Bowness? Rick Bowness was the head coach for.
Let's go Chicago. Final answer.
And question number 4. Who was the last Blues player to wear number 9?
Give me the options.
Options are Sammy Blais, Tyler Pitlick, or Scotty Upshaw.
Sammy Blais, final answer.
All right.
All right, let's see. And get Anthony in here. You call him in?
He is coming.
All right, Anthony's coming in. Hey, Ron, how you feel?
That was a dumpster fire.
Ooh, okay. Well, Anthony is coming out of the cone of silence. Anthony, you were in there by yourself again?
I chatted with Drew, our savior today, on what he did to get Aaron on the line here.
You got it figured out.
Yeah.
Anthony?
Carey?
In the words of our great friend, Jamie Rivers, pack a lunch.
Good.
Yeah. You ready?
Give me that. Hockey?
Yes.
Yes. All right. What do we got?
All right, Anthony, here we go.
Options.
Brendan Shanahan played 21 years in the NHL. He played a career most 716 games for the Detroit Red Wings. Which team did he play the second most games with?
Blues. Final answer.
Question number 2. Which current NHL coach was the head coach for the last season of the existence of the Hartford Whalers?
That's a great question. I was thinking about this the other day. Can I have the options, please?
Options are Rick Bowness, Lindy Ruff, or Paul Maurice.
Paul Maurice. Final answer.
All right. Who was the first NHL team Rick Bowness was the head coach for?
Oh, no. Again, Carey, I was thinking about this one the other day, too. Can I have the options, please?
Winnipeg Jets, Boston Bruins, Ottawa Senators.
Jets, Bruins, and Senators? Rick Bowness? He seems like a Winnipeg Hockey Jets guy. Jets. Final answer.
And question number 4. Who was the last Blues player to wear number 9?
Number 9. Wasn't Blais 9? Is he 9? Was he 9? I better take the options on this.
Options are Sammy Blais,
Son of a...
Tyler Pitlick, Scotty Upshaw.
No, I'm going to go with Sammy Blais. Final answer.
Whew. All right, there, Anthony. Let's start there. Who was the last Blues player to wear number 9? Aaron took the options, as did you, Anthony. You both landed on Sammy Blais.
And?
The correct answer, Marsh, is
Tyler Pitlick.
Oh.
Gosh darn it.
Blais was 9, though, wasn't he, at one point?
He was.
First stint with the Blues
was number 9.
But then old Tyler Pitlick came in, huh? All right.
0-0. Let's go to question number 1. Brendan Shanahan played 21 years in the NHL. He played his career most games, 716, with the Detroit Red Wings. Which team did he play the second most games for? Aaron, you said Blues. Anthony, you said Blues. Aaron needed the options.
Ooh. Show me them Blues, Marsh.
The correct answer is...
I've got them Blues.
Yeah, you got the wrong answer. It's New Jersey Devils.
Of course. Son of a devil.
Still 0-0.
Boy, oh boy.
Question number 2. Which current NHL coach was the head coach for the last season of the existence of the Hartford Whalers? Aaron, you took the options. You said Paul Maurice. Anthony, you also took the options and said Paul Maurice. Marsh, who is the answer?
It is Paul Maurice.
Yeah, knew it. Aaron and I knew that one for sure.
1-1.
We get you a little confused with the Blues stuff, but you throw out a Hartford Whaler reference. Aaron and I got it.
Final question. Question number 3. Who was the first NHL team Rick Bowness was the head coach for? Anthony, you took the options. You said the Winnipeg Jets. Aaron did not take any options.
Uh-oh.
He said the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, boy.
If it's the Blackhawks, Aaron wins. If it's the Jets, Anthony, you win. If it's neither, we got a walk-off.
Oh, boy.
Marshy, what's the correct answer?
Jets, Jets. It's the Winnipeg Jets.
Aaron, we're sorry.
You have chosen
I thought you were
poorly.
You lose.
I got excited, and then I'm like, uh-oh, am I leaning into this? Am I about to lean into a Marsh uppercut? Because he'll do that. It's not the right answer.
It is not, but it is this time. Aaron, you fell to Anthony 2-1 in hockey. Good job, brother.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for listening, Aaron. Good effort, man.
And thank you for your patience.
Yes,
too.
yes, indeed. Please,
Yeah.
thank you. We greatly appreciate that.
Definitely.
Appreciate you being patient.
Yes.
Right, yeah. Just be patient.
Just be patient. Just get in. Anthony, good job.
Thank you.
In hockey.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I've been thinking a lot about hockey
Yeah,
recently.
you were studying. You clearly.
I was studying
Rick
and,
Bowness, you knew that one.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Good job.
Some say I needed the help, but I was just narrowing down options because I studied so much hockey over the last couple of days.
We just got a message, though, from Jamie saying, you guys are wrong. It was the Senators.
Ooh.
For which question?
Rick Bowness?
I believe so.
So do we have... So it would make that a walk-off then?
Okay, what does Jamie know about hockey? Let's just start there.
There's a little bit.
And then we'll look this up.
Let's see.
In the break. But we do need to take a break. And we'll go to what's trending. So what's trending will be whether or not we're about to have a tiebreaker.
It's the Winnipeg Jets.
It is the Winnipeg Jets.
That's what I
1988,
thought. Yeah.
89, Winnipeg Jets. He was the head coach.
You know, Jamie, again, I got these hockey notes for you. If you need some for tonight's game, you let me know, kid. All right? But, he was definitely the first head coach of the Winnipeg Jets.
Ottawa Senators in 1992, 1993. Before that, he was with the Boston Bruins, 91, 92 as the head coach.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was telling you in the break, Marsh. What's trending is next on 101 ESPN.
what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Guys, I wanted to bring up the Oli Marmol conversation on Show and Go with X. That's Xavier Scruggs. We were talking about that earlier in the show. After listening back to it, I know we had several cuts from Oli Marmol, but what was your biggest takeaway from that conversation?
There was, I think the biggest thing was what he talked about with the clubhouse, the mentality, and bringing in guys that are going to fit the mentality that the entire room wants to have. And him talking about how, look, we could say when we talk, the main issue with the Cardinals last year was their pitching staff. Mm-hmm. Starters at first, then the bullpen, then a mixture of the two the entire season. That was the reason why they lost 91 games. That's the main reason. The offense wasn't nearly as good as it should be to have a winning team or a competitive team. But when he talked about the clubhouse always seemingly going in different directions or a certain group trying to get everybody on the same page, that screams to me that the clubhouse was fractured for one reason or another. And it's never one guy. And if you're part of the leadership group, whether you're Oli or Goldschmidt or Arnado, you're culpable in that too because you didn't get everybody pulling the rope in the same direction as well. You have to fix it.
You definitely do. For me, it was the fact that he said, the analytics, it's him. He's not, he takes the information, but he essentially has the final say and makes those calls. And so, like I said earlier, I think that puts him directly in the spotlight, good or bad, which is if you have confidence, which I'm sure he does have plenty of confidence in his ability to lead men to have a successful season, it's a great thing if they do well. It's not such a great thing if they don't. And last year, I don't know which version of this team will show up. Last year was a rough season for all parties involved. So I hope going forward that they have success this year because I think Oli is a great guy, and I think that they have to win baseball games here in St. Louis. They just cannot have another 90-plus loss season.
I think for me,
they won some last year. Not nearly enough.
Did they?
I can't remember.
Anthony didn't watch the games.
Did you?
Did they?
At the end?
I tried not to. We kind of have to, but
I watched. Until they started losing.
Yeah. when the game was like 7-2, 8th inning.
Right.
Yeah, you guys were tuned in when Juniel Caracuto was in the lineup.
Hell, I went to a game at Busch Stadium when he was in the lineup.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
I don't remember.
Okay.
No
drinking that day?
Disrespect to those guys. I think, because they're professional baseball players. But
yeah, at the end they're we could talk. Look, they lost 91 games. That roster at the end was ugly.
It wasn't great.
They were just trying to fill out the roster. You're bringing up guys like Drew Rom, who probably didn't need to be up at that point, but you needed arms because you just traded away Flaherty and Montgomery. People were banged up. People were hurt. Yeah, it was just ugly. I think gotta move on, guys.
For me, forward. Out of that conversation, set aside the things that he actually said. Some people will still have their own opinions. Maybe some people change their opinions on Oli Marmol. I think for me, it was nice to hear him talk outside of a post-game press conference and outside of a pre-game press conference, whatever you want to call those.
A scrum.
Yeah. It felt nice to hear him just talk outside of that, outside of the game, right? You're talking about the game, but you're not talking about the X's and O's in the game, and you're not talking about, why did you make this decision? It was nice to hear him talk as just a human being that is the manager of your favorite team.
Yeah.
Right. And hear him speak about what went wrong and take that accountability. Like, it gives you a different perspective. At least it did for me.
No, I think that's a good call. That's what those interviews. Xavier Scruggs did a good job there too, because those are the type of interviews that you can, if you have a relationship with somebody, that you can get the most out of, and it's more of an intimate setting, and the coach or the player should feel more comfortable.
Off season as well. I mean, before spring training starts, before it gets hectic, before the day-to-day kind of, minutia of going to work and putting a lineup out and doing all of that.
The grind.
Takes place. The grind. Yeah, you can get to it and get it done. I thought it was a good interview.
And make sure to send us mic drops. What are your thoughts?
Did he change your perspective as well? Or
I just think they got to win, man. Like, I think people probably don't give coaches enough credit for their awareness of situations in terms of, like, we're talking about Oli knowing final year of a contract, nothing is set in stone, and you have to win in order to stay. And so I think, he's clearly aware of that, and to me, it felt like he's embracing that. Some people duck and dodge and shy away from that amount of pressure. But to me, it seems as though he's embracing it. This is what happened. This is what we didn't do well last year. This is the reason why we went in this direction. The only complaint that I have, again, is nobody stood up for Wilson Contreras last year. That's my only complaint. Not the front office, not the coaches, not his teammates. That we talk about rolling out to an island by yourself. Wilson was on an island last year by himself, man. And nobody stood in front of him to protect him. He's a grown man. He probably didn't need the protection in the terms that people are thinking, but as a teammate, as a person that you spend more time with than your own family, who eventually become brothers, someone should have stood up in front of him and said, no, not today. It's not on him. This is us. Nobody did.
Yeah.
That's problematic for me.
That's Gary Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's Fastline on 101 ESPN. As Marsh said, we're taking your mic drops, and we will revisit this throughout the course of the show. Jamie is heading downtown. He's going to be on Bally Sports Midwest tonight for the Blues and Blue Jackets. Joe Vitale will join us in the 5 o'clock hour to break down that game as well. I was thinking about this the other day after Patrick Mahomes won, and we saw Lamar Jackson lose. Which players and coaches in various sports, doesn't have to be football, have been the best killers of great all time? Pick Carey's brain on this, and I think people can chime in on the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Think of guys like Michael Jordan, Tiger, Tom Brady. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like me, my buddy over there, Anthony, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring.
Yeah.
The best seat on the couch.
Oh.
Grabbing your favorite football snacks and placing some super bets. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel has bets for who will score a touchdown. Which team will score the most points? The over-under. All of these things and so much more, Anthony.
They've got first player to score. They've got various. I mean, heck, you could do the kicking props if you want. Live plays as well. It's all good at FanDuel. New customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/fast to sign up. Again, that's FanDuel.com/fast to sign up, and then you can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present Illinois. First $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update. Driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We'll talk with Joe Vitale at 5:30, so stay tuned for that. Once again, Blues, Blue Jackets tonight. Pregame at 6, puck drop at 7. We've talked about the Blues. We've talked about the Cardinals. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. This Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. I was thinking about this the other day with Patrick Mahomes. So Mahomes wins, the Chiefs win, but the Mahomes starting quarterback once again wins an AFC title. And in order to do so, he had to get through Josh Allen, Tua, and then Josh Allen, and then Lamar. Josh Allen is a franchise quarterback. Lamar Jackson is a franchise quarterback. Those two players are capable, based on talent alone, of winning a Super Bowl. Josh Allen has been thwarted multiple times now by Mahomes. Lamar might be in the future thwarted by Patrick Mahomes. And it reminds me of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, of course.
Yeah.
How many Super Bowls could Peyton Manning have gone to /won had Tom Brady not played in the same era, in the same conference?
Yep.
And I get it, right? Like, well, that's what makes Tom Brady the GOAT, or that's what makes Patrick Mahomes potentially the next GOAT. Mm-hmm. Or Joe Montana. You have to go through those guys if you want to win it all.
Correct.
But in that same conversation, Carey, I think about Tiger Woods. How many great, and I mean great golfers, did not win majors?
Or as many
majors, because Tiger Woods played for as long as he did, and he was the greatest to ever do it.
I mean, Phil Mickelson.
Right?
You can go down the list.
Exactly.
A lot of names.
Michael Jordan in the 90s.
I think of Reggie Miller. I think of Patrick Ewing. I think of, Charles Barkley. Guys that were great in their era, but were unable to win a championship because Michael Jordan was there. It's when you have certain guys or certain people that are that good. Peyton and Tom Brady are a perfect example. It's hard to win when the player that you got to play or compete against is playing at that high of a level and they're having that much success. He has that much success around him. And so you just don't get an opportunity to win championships, and then people look at you like, well, you stink.
What's wrong with you?
Hey, you see this guy? What the hell you want me to do?
Had a great career.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Until I faced them, and so I'm trying to think of who else. Dan Marino comes to mind, but they only played the 49ers once.
And that was his rookie
Super
year.
Bowl, right?
Yep, that was his rookie year.
And so, but there are...
what about Jim Kelly? Because the Cowboys existed.
Yeah,
Jim Kelly and the Bills are the last team, and they might be the last team.
They are a dynasty. Despite not winning a championship. I know we put that as the criteria. You got to win at least 3.
Sure.
That Bills dynasty, despite not winning one, in my opinion, is still a dynasty because who in their right minds goes to 4 Super Bowls in a row?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we may never see that again.
I highly doubt it. I mean, now
we haven't been close to.
No,
the Patriots.
They didn't go to 4 in a row.
No,
they went to a lot, like 8-10 years and went to 6, 12 years. But I mean, right now Patrick Mahomes is on his 2nd in a row, and 4th in 6 years.
For a Super Bowl appearance, yeah.
In 6 years.
Yes.
So
2019 was his first.
And then 21.
And then 21 is when he lost to the Bucs, and now it's 24. So, yeah.
He's right there. Mm-hmm. He's going to be one of those. I mean, we talked about it jokingly. Like I know you jumped on the Chiefs bandwagon with. Oh, you mean you should have?
I didn't jump on it. I just announced it at my presence.
And that's no joke.
I'm here.
No, you're serious.
Yeah.
Because when we both came in Monday and said we couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah.
And I told you, I said I won't bet against Patrick Mahomes again. Like, I made a mistake because Lamar is going to have to get over that hurdle. Josh Allen is going to have to get over that hurdle. Joe Burrow did, but they didn't finish the deal. They couldn't keep Aaron Donald up off the quarterback. Like they got there, but were unable to finish it. But all of these quarterbacks in the AFC, the championship going through Kansas City. Whether it's actually in Kansas City or in your stadium, you're going to have to go through Kansas City. And that's got to be a daunting task for all of these teams.
Well, Carey, we think about Joe Burrow. We think about Josh Allen. We think about Lamar. How about Justin Herbert? He's got to play the Chiefs twice a year.
Good luck,
and
buddy.
try to win. You're going to be playing on the road constantly, even when you do make the playoffs. Yeah, so we're talking about which players and coaches have been the best killers of great all time. Because there are Hall of Famers.
Is Phil Jackson on that list?
No, but Kobe is.
Why is Kobe and not Phil?
I don't know. When I think of coaches, I don't like Phil. Phil was great, but I think of Nick Saban. Like Nick Saban cost people their jobs.
Well, Phil had 3 separate three-peats.
But who else? What other coach in the NBA at that point were you like clamoring for? Who is Peyton Manning
to Phil Jackson?
That's
a good question.
Who's Josh Allen to
what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Van Gundy.
Oh, Van Gundy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could maybe say Pat Riley. And he won, but
he won his championship, so he didn't. They kind of missed each other.
When I think of coach Bill Belichick, I think of Nick Saban. Mm-hmm. Nick Saban cost countless people their jobs in the SEC.
They couldn't beat him
because they couldn't beat him. They may have been good coaches, but they could not beat him.
Beating anybody else,
probably not. But still, I think these guys killed great, and it's part of the fun of sports because we get a chance to talk about the parity throughout a regular season, but then we get a chance to also witness great players do their thing. I mean,
it's different, man. Like watching that Baltimore team was poised and ready and had every opportunity, but I feel like they were just in awe of the moment. Mm-hmm. Not overwhelmed, not scared, not worried, but just the moment was. Sometimes it feels like it's bigger than you. And I think that Baltimore team, and you look at Kansas City, they just did their job the entire game. Never got too high, never got too low.
Yeah.
Just kind of felt like, we're going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Even no matter what it takes, Marquez Valdez can go catch this ball. You ain't caught nothing all year, man. Why would you throw him that ball? He got to catch it eventually, right? And so there you have it. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs were able to do, and the Baltimore Ravens weren't. And teams going forward, you're going to have to do that. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to figure out a way to knock him off the throne, because right now he is the top dog.
Yep.
And everybody else is just running around.
To say the least, he is fun to watch. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Let's get to our sports six-pack. We haven't done that yet. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you got a question for us, send it there. We'll do our sports six-pack next. If you need a new ride, consider Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They're the best, man. They're fantastic. From sale to service, they get it done for you, and you feel like you're taken care of, too. One location, one dealership. Let's just start there. How many times you go to a dealership and they're like, well, yeah, we have that car, kind of, and it's at the other dealership. It's at the other location. No, not at Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum. They've got one spot, and they have over 700 vehicles, new Nissans and pre-owned vehicles, ready for you to test drive. After, of course, you go to AutoCentersNissan.com and just peruse the inventory that they have. They have tremendous deals. They've got the 30-day return promise that they make you. They have free nationwide lifetime warranty as well when it comes to new Nissans. They do it right. And when it comes to working with them after the sale, too, they make sure that you're taken care of from a service standpoint, oil changes, any mechanical things that you could do it right there. Again, all at one spot. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Center's Nissan Herculaneum.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. What do you got for us, Marsh?
Question number one.
Well, gentlemen, it looks like, Anthony, you traded one coach in the NFL to Carey's favorite football team.
Yeah.
In the Pittsburgh Steelers because
Gifted him.
Why did you do that?
Arthur Smith
wanted him.
is joining the Steelers coaching staff. Carey, what are your thoughts
I don't
on
know
that
what
man?
to think. I mean, Anthony says he's a good coach, or Was.
Oh, no, I never did that. I said maybe he could be a good coordinator.
Maybe he can be. I don't know. I mean,
Don't you put that hate in my mouth.
Wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I am generally the wait and see approach kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, you've watched way more Falcon games than I have this year. I watched a fair share. I noticed that their was he 7th overall pick, Bijan Robinson, didn't get the ball as much as I think he should have. I noticed that
wasn't that big of a prospect.
The number 1 pick that they had a couple of years ago, Drake London, probably didn't get the ball as much as he should have. I noticed that the number 1 pick that they had the year before that, in Kyle Pitts, I don't think he got the ball as much as he should have.
But talk to me about Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, they signed him in the offseason. He got the ball a lot one game, but for the most part, Anthony, didn't see him getting the ball to their guys, which and then I noticed they went back and forth with quarterbacks, Taylor Heineke and Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. But when you're coming from where we're coming from, probably can't be much worse. So
you're taking the breadcrumbs.
I got crumbs sitting here, man. I'm just gonna eat them up. Just eat them up. Hopefully I get to the full meal, but as we know, the breadcrumbs are the full meal.
Yeah.
You'll never get a full meal.
No, not with some. Yeah, I think he'll be fine he can design a run. Like, his running games are typically good. His passing games I find to be absolutely overly complicated, yet simplistic and awful.
Well, maybe it's the quarterback.
All at the same time.
It's the quarterback, right?
It can be.
You got to lean on a QB.
You guys got one?
We got 3. What are you talking about? The hell are you talking about?
When you have 3, you don't have 1.
We started 3 this year,
that.
Anthony. The hell are you talking? Desmond Ridder. Oh, Marcus Mariota isn't there anymore. Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke. But Marcus was there last year.
Yeah, he was there last year, though. Yeah.
Desmond.
Yeah, Mariota was an Eagle this past year.
Yeah, he'll be back next year for the old
he probably will be.
Falcons.
On the practice squad.
Oh, no.
Good old Artie Smith. Do you remember when I wished that hate on them?
I can't believe you would do that.
Why would you do that?
When everybody was complaining about Tomlin, I said, you know who you deserve, Steeler Nation? Arthur Smith.
You just took that crap and threw it right in Carey's face.
I didn't mean Carey. Carey loves Mike T. But those that were complaining about Mike T, you kind of deserve this. So, good luck.
Why would they do that, though? Why?
Because he's a known quantity coming off of Matt Canada. So,
get the ball
and he was available.
You're going to get the ball. See, yeah, I like it. Jonnu Smith, 3rd in receptions on the team. Darnell Washington, get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he hadn't caught a lot of passes. Just been blocking.
Yeah.
Probably put him at left tackle.
What do you think's easier to say? Fire Canada? Like fire Canada or fire Smith? Like which one?
Probably Canada.
You think so? It's got
more syllables.
Fire Canada.
Yeah,
like,
they were yelling that at the Penguins game.
Were they?
Oh yeah.
You'd almost have to go fire Arthur.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, we're not firing Arthur yet. He ain't even called a play yet, Anthony. It's going to be a great season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on. George might attack him. I don't know. He might. Seems a little aggressive. I like it, though. My kind of guy.
Question number 2.
All right, this one comes from the 636. After listening to the Oli interview with Xavier Scruggs.
Yes.
He talks about, the analytics, and he talks about like that gut feel. Do you think now, after last season, that he will be more prone to making decisions based on the feel with the players? He mentioned the players. Will he do that, or will he sort of still stick with the analytical approach?
I think he explained it, and I think he explained it well.
Mm-hmm.
Analytics are numbers. It's information. That's what he noted. It's information. How you utilize the information, that's up to you.
Right.
And it's more, baseball, we've spent so much time talking about analytics, but managing a team, you have to know everybody in that clubhouse, what they're thinking, how they're feeling. Are they going well? Are they not going well? Do they need a break? Do they not? Do they need to be pushed? Do they need to be backed off of? That is managing.
And that comes from your assistants as well.
Sure.
Like, it's not one person that is solely responsible for all of that. I think sometimes when I say analytics, I hate them. Like, analytics is part of sports. Like, in every sport. The Philadelphia Eagles lost a game last year on the same play by the Kansas City Chiefs. Analytics took part of that, I'm sure. I'm sure the Kansas City Chiefs said this team is almost 100% man-to-man in this part of the field. We're going to run the same damn play, and we're going to score 2 touchdowns. That's analytics. Kansas City used that to their advantage.
Sure.
But when you use it solely to answer every question, that's the part where I feel like, you gotta, because if they run into the same situation and the analytics say, same thing, throw it to Kadarius Toney. No. Because he hasn't caught the ball. He was upset, too. I don't know if you saw that. He's very upset. He spoke out before the game. But
Kadarius Toney did?
Yeah, he
this
had
past game?
Yeah, before the game. He had some.
What did he say?
Said he's not hurt. They're making it up.
Well, his feelings are hurt now.
Yeah, he's upset.
So.
But
are you going to go there too, Marsh?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
You using the analytics are good to a degree, but trusting your players for me in certain moments, and you have to build that trust. You have to gain that trust. So I hope going forward, I hope next year is this season is a much better year. Can't be much worse though.
All right, more of your mic drops. We got mic drops, right? Let's do some mic drops next on the Oli Marmol interview with Xavier Scruggs. What are your thoughts? If you're still in the Cardinals need a new manager camp, why? What about Oli bothers you? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, are you using ED meds currently? Well, if you are, you're probably paying too much for them. And I understand it. The little blue pill and the gummy got to get you ready for game time. You don't have to spend too much money, though. Head over to the medicine shop in St. Charles, your destination for cheap ED meds. They've got a generic called Sildenafil, and they've got that for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, of course. They also offer free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace of any regular medicines that you take. So for me, with a busy schedule, crazy times, I don't have to get to the pharmacy. The pharmacy comes to me, and that's a huge bonus for me with my crazy schedule, and you will love that as well. And nothing you'll love is the service over there at the medicine shop in St. Charles. Please walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you, and any questions you have, whether it's maybe there's cold, flu, allergies, maybe you've got some aches and pains that you need to be addressed, talk to the pharmacist over there. They're going to point you in the right direction. They're always going to help you. So again, get there in person or get there online. Visit them at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN 503. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh and Anthony Stalter. Jamie Rivers downtown for tonight's Blues Blue Jackets game. Bally Sports Midwest has the coverage for you TV-wise, but we got you covered right here on 101 ESPN in the home of the Blues Radio Network. Pregame starting at 6 o'clock. We've been discussing throughout the course of the show today about the Oli Marmol, Xavier Scruggs interview, and we've broken it down. A couple of the key things that Oli discussed, but we were curious. We wanted to hear from you. Did that interview change your perspective on Oli, or are you still in the camp of, the Cardinals need to head in a different direction with their manager? And if you're in camp 2, tell us why, because we are curious. There are reasons. I've come to know the reasons why Cardinals fans are always ticked off at Mo. Mm-hmm. I understand those reasons. But when it comes to Oli, he had one really good year, at least regular season-wise, made the playoffs, and one terrible year. And there are some people that say, well, he had Albert Pujols 2 years ago, and look at the success he had, and it wasn't for Albert going off in the second half. Who knows, right? To me, Carey, you can't have it both ways. Yep. You can't minimize the manager's impact during a playoff year because it fits your narrative, and then put almost all of it on him last year because he oversaw a team that couldn't get it right.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Both. You have to account for both.
Both. That's the part that becomes a little bit mind-boggling to me, because I think people do forget that team was in the playoffs in 22. Like, that team I thought was going to beat the Philadelphia Phillies, and it just kind of spiraled out of control. And so then you come back the next year, and it is an epic season in terms of how poorly it went. No one saw it coming. We figured at some point you had, your catcher and that whole debacle. You had your center fielder / whatever he plays on any given day having issues where he's not playing because of his knees. Nolan Arenado started out struggling in the worst manner in which he probably has his entire career to start the season. And so nothing worked well. Your longest tenured player is injured in the World Baseball Classic. Come to find out his arm is barely hanging on by a thread. Like, you have so many things that could go wrong, that did go wrong, and it all happened. And so now I think when fans are looking at, if you watch that interview, maybe you get a better glimpse of who Oli Marmol is. Maybe you have a better understanding. And this is why it's important, in my opinion, for coaches, managers to actually not always shun the media, because sometimes you have to have those conversations where you're sitting down with a buddy and you're talking, and that buddy knows how to bring out the best in you, and you can have that conversation and not feel like you're being attacked or poked in the regular season like it happens when you're on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. You done lost 3 series in a row. Like that, those things tend to happen during the regular season. But I thought this was a good interview for him. And again, it puts pressure on him. Not like there wasn't any pressure to begin with, but when you say, analytics, we use them. Nobody's telling me what to do. Okay, everybody's watching you then. Everybody's watching your moves. Why are you making that decision? Great decision. Well, why didn't you do this time? It's going to be a lot more questions, I think, in terms of, what is expected of this team, especially if it doesn't go well.
No doubt. All right, let's hear from Paul first, who left us a mic drop.
Oli Marmol is a puppet for John Mozeliak.
Okay.
Mozeliak has an analytics team in the millions of dollars a year combined. He uses those analytics. Marmol does not have any experience playing Major League Baseball to go from his gut or experience, so he's 100% using the analytics. Mike Schilt challenged Mo on not using the analytics too much, and Schilt was fired for philosophical differences. Mo's running the show. Oli Marmol is a puppet.
Okay, but he doesn't have anything to fall back on from a playing standpoint. To be fair, and I know this wasn't your main point, Paul. Neither did Mike Schilt, though. Mike Schilt didn't play either.
So either. Not
but
in
I think
Paul,
in defense of Paul, I think what he was trying to make, the overall point was that Schilt didn't just go with the analytics. No, you're right. I don't think Oli is either, though, and this is just a difference of opinion. I think when a season happens like it did, we all search for the reason why. And we all come up with different reasons, right?
What reason did we come up with?
What reason did I come up with? I can only answer for myself,
Okay,
Carey.
what reason did you
The
come
pitching
up with?
staff stunk.
So,
you can't win in baseball if you don't have a good pitching staff.
Okay.
Period. End of story.
Yeah.
I don't care who the manager is.
I agree.
You weren't gonna win with that pitching staff. You weren't gonna win with Miles Michaelis pitching good every other month. You're not gonna be good with Adam Wainwright, one, not being available. Then when he came back, he really struggled. Let's just be real about it. Adam Wainwright was not good last year, unfortunately. I'm glad he got, he withstood the test of time and got the milestone at the end, and he was celebrated like he should. Like he should have been. Dude wasn't good for most of last year. Jordan Montgomery was your only steady pitcher. Jack Flaherty was Mr. 5 and dive consistently. Goes to Baltimore. Baltimore had to shove him in the bullpen because he wasn't good enough. Who's going to win with that, guys? Jordan Montgomery is your only really good pitcher last year. I don't care who the manager was. He wasn't going to win. Now, can Oli win consistently? We're about to find out. Is this pitching staff any better? Again, we're about to find out. I think it's probably better on paper than it was a year ago. But
I think there are still questions about this team going into 2024. Like, I don't think enough was done in the offseason to where you can say, okay, we fixed it. We're
wasn't.
good.
No.
We're good to go. We got all of these issues sorted out.
You could say that. You could just drop the I think on that, Carey.
Okay,
you're right.
We got all the, we still have, it's still a wait-and-see approach to see how well this team meshes. The problem that I have, and I can't get past this, when you say you have to bring in guys because the culture is not good, that speaks volumes to me, because it's saying the people that are in there either don't know how to be leaders, or are not leaders, or are not the type of people that are willing to step out in front and be vocal when need to. Everybody can't just show up to the ballpark on the bus and just be quiet the whole way there. You have to have some guys that pull people to the side and say, hey, come on, let's go. You got it? You good? You need that. Sometimes players lose confidence. You need a teammate to say, hey, you good? You good, bro. Yeah. You got it. You okay. We're going to weather this storm. You have to have that. Those are the things that make a culture, that bring a clubhouse, a locker room together. If you don't have those people that speak life into you or kick you in the butt when you need it, you're not going to have success. And I don't know if this team, because they obviously said they didn't have it last year, did they gain it in the signings that they brought in for this year? Mm-hmm. That's my question. And that's the thing that I want to see if that changes for 2024.
Let's hear from Aaron next.
Oli Marmol strikes me as an authority figure like Mike Matheny was. They say the old school is the manager's like your dad, but Matheny was more like the older brother. Not everyone gets along with their older brother, but a lot of the players either were with him in the minors as a coach or maybe have played with him at some point. So I think Marmol's relationship to the players is a little more the older brother style, and I don't have anything wrong with that. It's kind of how it's working in the new age game. I have questions about his strategic abilities, just like some people don't like how Matheny was. I don't know how much is combined with the analytics department and the front office, but as an individual and as a coach, I don't really think I had a problem with the Tyler O'Neill situation. I don't love guys getting called out, but like you guys said, that was discussed with O'Neill at some point. Contreras was mishandled by the whole organization, so I'm not only putting that on Marmol. I think I'm ready to give Marmol a clean slate, especially how he took the heat at the winter warm-up saying he needs to be better. He's holding himself accountable, so I think I'm going to give this team a clean slate going into this year, and if they screw up again, that's their problem.
I like that. I like that. That seems very. That was for Aaron. I think that seems very realistic. But I think him saying, "All right, clean slate. Yeah, one good year, one bad year. We'll see if you fix it. But if you didn't fix it, there's gonna be no secret behind it here. There's no guesswork.
Yeah,
you're gonna stink again because you didn't fix the pitching staff, and there's not gonna be anything that Oli's gonna do about it." Or can do about it. He's going to lose his job. We're going to move forward again with a new manager.
Okay, and if that were to happen, then what? Because if it happens twice or 2 years in a row, now what? Because I think that's the problem that Cardinal fans are having.
Are you?
Now
you're
what?
right. Are you
if that happens again,
is your ownership willing to make a change in its front office? Because that's the only thing that's going to change if you have another losing season. And now it's a perfect segue to the 618.
I have no problem with Oli Marmol. My big problem is with Mozeliak and that guy who needs welfare, DeWitt. That's where the problems lie.
I don't think he needs
the roster's not good enough, and we got a lot of wasted space in this roster. And if Marmol had good players, he'd be a good coach.
I think that's honestly,
anybody.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think he's spot on.
You say that about anybody.
I don't know about the welfare thing, but yeah.
That was weird.
But it does play into the bigger point here. You did not have a good enough pitching staff last year. I don't care who was on your bench managing games. There's only so much you can do. Can we still criticize Oli? Yeah, absolutely. Because the managing aspect of it still, who's your leadership group? Have you identified your leaders? Are your leaders doing what needs to be done? And clearly there was a fracture last year. How do I know that? Your team was supposed to, projected to compete for a division title again. You finished in dead last. And it wasn't all because of the injuries. The injuries didn't occur until the second half of the season when that puppy was done. Mm-hmm. The season was over. But to your question, Carey, is the ownership willing to shake things up in the front office if things go sideways? If not, then you're not going to get. You're going to get another Oli Marmol type as a manager. You're going to try to fill needs and do nothing else. This has been the MO.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're not done with the Cardinals conversation. Lisa asked us a question. By the way, we do have Joe Vitale coming up at the bottom of the hour here, so we'll talk some Blues hockey ahead of tonight's game. But Lisa left us a mic drop asking us a question about Oli. She turned the tables on us, Carey, and that's going to be one of our biggest questions of the day next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, time for the biggest question of the day here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's get to our biggest question of the day. And this was actually something posed by Lisa, who left us a mic drop in relation to Oli Marmol. Now, as we all know, Lisa's not the biggest Oli fan. She wants that kind of cutthroat aspect when it comes to her winning, like Tony used to provide. And Oli, at least in her opinion, doesn't feel like that cuts it. But she asked a question in her mic drop here that we found to be interesting. We made it part of our biggest question of the day.
Hey guys, great topic. Not a Marmol fan, but it's not personal. But I also feel like it is personal with a lot of media because people have met him and they like him. I just have a simple question. What is he good at? Because every coach and manager could say the same thing about roster construction. I mean, they all get let go. They probably all wanted different roster construction. So what is it, not that you like him, but what is it? What are the attributes that you're dying on this line for that you think he's so good? I will go to my grave that his most biggest mistake is Schumacher. So what is he good at? I saw a team play bad fundamentals, bad base running, bad everything last year. And how he handled Contreras, I don't know how any of you defend that. Because Flaherty and Miles, what was going on in that clubhouse, why didn't he take control of that? But nobody talks about that. So I'm just trying to understand and respecting you guys, what is he good at? And yes, Carey, I know it comes down to the athletes, but Herzog set the speed and defense, TLR sent hard 9. What does he stand for? Because they're not doing anything right. So just trying to understand it. Thanks.
Lisa, first of all, thank you for a well-thought-out question. You were respectful with it. You weren't just slamming Oli. You weren't just slamming us. Carey has been one of the biggest proponents of the Cardinals, top to bottom, screwed up the Contreras situation. You know, there's no need to draw lines there. We're on your same side with that. I'll answer this way. I love that, Lisa, you brought up Tony and Herzog because you talked about essentially an identity. Yeah. Herzog, pitching, defense, speed, we're going to win this way. TLR, play the hard 9. But you also have to have players that are kind of cutthroat within that too, that are just mostly about winning. And they developed a team that way that was mostly about winning. Multiple teams, in fact. Yeah. When certain players got a little bit older or they needed to move on from them, they brought in guys that fit that identity, that culture, that would play for Tony, that respected him. So well said on those two. I would ask you this. What is the identity under Oli? I don't know. TBD. But I don't think that's an Oli thing. I think that's a Mo thing.
No, I can see Lisa's point. I think that your team is a reflection of you as a manager. When you think of Mike Vrabel, you think of what? Hard nosed, tough, physical. And you expect his teams to be that. When you think of Dan Campbell, you think of the same thing. When you think of Kyle Shanahan, you think of a team that has athleticism and they're going to make plays because and I understand that these are football teams, right? But when you think of Dusty Baker, what do you think of? Chill, laid back, toothpick in his mouth. His team plays in that manner. They got some pretty damn good players. Yes, it helps. Yeah. But I think that, and I can agree, I think Lisa has a valid point. What is Oli Marmol's, not what he does, because I don't want to, disparage or denigrate or talk, just make it seem like he doesn't do anything. Obviously he does something. But I think it's more about what is his team. What is his philosophy? Who are his guys? What are they going to be? He said that you had some guys that were overachievers and then you had guys that weren't as much. Your job as the head coach is to make sure everybody is rowing in the same direction. Because if we got guys rowing you got to get the hell off my boat, buddy. Right. You got to kick them the hell out. And at this level, you can, to a certain degree. You can get those guys that are not rowing or not pulling the rope in the same way off of your roster, off of your team. And so I think 2024, this has to be a team that is all in collectively, going in the same direction, working hard for the same purpose and the same goal, each other. Sure. And when you work hard for each other, then championships come. So
But what do we talk about a lot, Carey? We talk about the different players, the different positions constantly.
Yeah.
We talk about some of this team has power. The other not so much. Some guys can play defense, some can't. Who are you? That is
What's your identity?
That is determined by the front office. So basically, I am giving out here. Do something with this. Well, how am I winning games?
There are some teams that can win games in different ways, right? You don't have to always, but I think that's, that comes from your coach, your guys understanding that tonight this has to be this type of game because we put ourselves in this position, and we have to figure out a way how to get out of this because we put ourselves here. I think it's just, I can see what Lisa's saying, but I think, he has another year to prove that, to show who he is, what this team is capable of.
Yeah.
And the expectation of the St. Louis Cardinals is to be in playoff environments, playoff games. Red October. We're supposed to be at Busch Stadium wearing our Cardinal red. That's the expectation, and not just for one series. Not just for, you're supposed to be there at least for an NLCS. That's the expectation. So going for this 2024 season, what are they, who are they, and how will they be the best version of themselves?
I'm gonna double down on my point. I will first address what Lisa was talking about.
Because I don't have an answer. I don't know.
Either.
Yeah.
Because here, Mike Schilt, you would argue, well, what did Mike Schilt do well? She mentioned the fundamentals lacking a year ago with Oli. Okay. The fundamentals and the strong defense was there under Schilt. They weren't under Matheny. Do you know why? Because Matheny did not have the same defensive players as Schilt did. As soon as Schilt took over, it was like Colton Wong, everyday second base. Harrison Bader was brought up to play center field. They eventually acquired Paul Goldschmidt. They got better defenders. Look at that team a year ago. Outside of the corners, and Arenado had his worst defensive year. Outside of the corners,
it was rough, man.
Who's your defense?
It was rough.
And Tommy Edman, right?
What position?
Exactly. So you got worse. Do you know why you got worse defensively, Carey?
Because they don't play the same position every day.
You got worse defensively because you got worse defensive players.
Okay.
And we banned the shift.
That too.
So this is a different ballgame now. Yeah. I can't tell you what Oli does well. I'm not in the clubhouse. He may get the most out of his players, or I don't know. I'm not in there. But I know Schilt, the fundamentals were there, not because Oli doesn't preach it and Schilt did, but because he had better defenders.
That helps.
With the shift.
When you got better players, it generally helps being better.
And who controls the roster?
John Mozela.
Thank you.
All right. You rest your case, Your Honor.
Your Honor. I rest my case. But Lisa, it's a good question because I don't know. You're right. I don't know. You got me.
I think
the Finches were a bad idea.
I think that, you just, not that he isn't, but I think you're going to have to, we'll see what this team is. It's a wait and see approach for me because, again, they told us we needed 3 pitchers. We got 3 pitchers. Done. You can put a stamp on it. It got done. You need clubhouse presence, a guy that is a leader in the clubhouse. Okay, done. You got Matt Carpenter for that. He's probably not going to play 85 games or 115 games. Cool. He's going to be in his role, whatever that role is, an added bench coach to some degree. Fine. Not a problem. How are you better than you were last year?
Right.
Now, again, hopefully these younger guys, have Jordan Walker, second year. Hopefully you're better. Mason Wynn, second.
Yeah.
First-ish
I'm actually
year
willing to say
be better.
Right now, without seeing anything, that your defense is going to be better.
I would assume so. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting season to see how it all unfolds. I'm looking forward to it, and I think, like I said, Oli Marmol has stood up and said, "This is what it is. This is how we run things. This is how we do things." And so this is on me. If it doesn't go well, he knows what's at stake, as do we all. So wait and see.
Yeah.
2024 goes like 2023. It might be anarchy, might be chaos in St. Louis. Whew, that'd be bad.
No, we don't want that.
But you'll have your answer.
There you go. All right, that's Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Joe Vitale next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
If you are currently thinking about selling your home and you're not sure maybe what the price should be, or you're not sure if it's the right time of year, whether or not you have the right agent, let me help you out. Call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Lou has options for you. My favorite option is guaranteed sales. That's where Gloria sits down with you and agrees upon a list price for your home and then sells your home for that price, or she buys it herself and she puts all that in handwriting. And she's so confident. Why? Because she has thousands of buyers in her database that help drive traffic to your listing, maybe more offers, multiple offers, higher offers, more money in your pocket at the end of the day. So please pick up the phone, call Gloria, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you. That number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price and possession date.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. The Blues are going for their 6th straight win in a row. We're going to talk with Joe Vitale coming up next right here in the Fast Lane to talk about your St. Louis Blues. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Joey Vitale views things a little differently. Just imagine how he looks at hockey. Whoa! This is The View from Vitale, brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
Time to chat with Joe Vitale here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN ahead of tonight's Blues and Blue Jackets game. Joe, what's up, man?
Hey, Stalter, what's going on, man? Just hanging out on the bowels of the Enterprise Center, ready to get this game rocking and rolling.
Absolutely. We're interested in talking Blues hockey, of course.
Indeed.
Two things. One, I heard you played in the police versus fire department game on Saturday or Sunday and scored a goal.
Heck yeah, I was on the firefighter side, and I told all those cops at the beginning of the game, I don't like you police officers. I've never been let out of a ticket in my entire life. I told them that too. We're out the house. They said, "Oh, you're a firefighter," because Jamal Mayers was police.
Uh-huh.
And they're, oh, you don't want to be on the police side? I go, listen, they put me where they put me, but they put me right. I go, I've been pulled over at least 7 times in my life. I got 7 tickets. You guys want me on anything? I go, I'm going 58 or 20. Like, relax. Fine.
That's not good, Joe. Yeah, that's not good. You probably deserve that ticket. Well, nice job. Did you guys win?
We ended up losing. It was a nail biter to the end. It was a fun game. We ended up losing 6-4 with an empty net. There was a scrap, some great goals. It was a great crowd that stuck around the Enterprise Center. So overall, it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. And of course, just the presence from the firefighters and the police officers, and it was so much friendly banter across the board. And it was just so nice to be a part of that group. And those guys are my heroes on the both sides. In all seriousness, it was great to be a part of it.
That's awesome. We do want to ask you about the Blues here before Carey gets to a question that the text line has actually been asking for. But when it comes to the Blues winning 5 straight, the last time we talked to you, I asked you, how do you get on a roll here? You have to start a streak. You have to compile victories to get going here because you've just been inconsistent. Lo and behold, they did. So they were listening to us and you, Joe, and we appreciate your service here. So now that we have seen them win 5 straight, what has been the absolute main difference between what we're seeing now compared to all the inconsistencies for most of the season?
Well, I think the biggest thing, there's a couple small things before we get to the big things. The small things is the power play's improved. You know, you are starting to get goals that are helping you get back in games, to tie games, to get within a goal in a game, to get a lead in the game, and they're coming from your power play. Your power play is clicking very well over the last few weeks. That's a non-negotiable. They knew it had to get better, and it's been better. So that's number one. Number two, you know, we're starting to see depth scoring. For a while there, it was the Thomas trio up top that was doing all the offense, and Drew Bannister addressed it to the media 3 weeks ago. He said, we got to start making some guys up. We got to start finding some scoring on our second, third, fourth lines. Well, he's gotten that now. I mean, that Braden Shen and Jake Neighbors and Brandon Saad line, that was probably the best line on that entire road trip, and they were very consistent. Of course, the captain continues to surge. So we're starting to get more balanced scoring. That's number two. And those are minor things, right? But the biggest thing, and to call a spade, let's just be real here, the goaltending's been exceptional, like with the capital E. I mean, we're talking about not just one goal, but both. Joe Hofer and Jordan Bennington have both been just standing on their absolute heads throughout that last road trip, even last game against the LA Kings. Hofer with another big save late to keep it 3-3. You know, they're getting outchanced every game. They're getting outshot every game. The other team's got more attempts every game. I mean, you look at the final stat sheet at the end of the night. If you just take away the score and you look at all the numbers, you're thinking the Blues lose this game. The Blues lose this game. It's over. No, it's the opposite. The Blues are figuring out a way to win the game, and it's taking overtime, but they're figuring out ways to get 2 points. But the biggest reason, without a question, is the goaltending has been stellar, and this Blues team has been getting saves when they need it.
Joey, this team has started to create some pretty good habits, maybe kind of a routine, you would say. I mentioned last week that you had a story about one of your teammates who had an odd routine with you in particular, and so the fans wanted to know if you wouldn't mind sharing that story of one of the greatest players to play the game.
Are you talking about the one with Sid?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, man, yeah. This is a nutty story. Yeah, so I've told this story a lot. I'll give you guys a more condensed version. I could be on here all day talking about the nuts and bolts of it. But, you know, listen, the greatest in the world, of course, the Michael Jordan types, and, of course, Sidney Crosby's they're very routine basis. You know, they have a routine. They have a set. This is how they get to their game, how they get to their mindset. And I didn't really know much about it when I was a rookie coming into the Pittsburgh Penguins back in 2012. But they appointed me the team DJ right off the hop. They usually give it to a younger player. And, of course, I was the guy coming in and said, yeah, I'll do it. And it comes with a big responsibility because you got to mix up the music. You got to keep the techno for the Europeans. You got to keep rock and roll for the older guys. You got to play rap for the younger guys. And no one's ever happy. You got to try to find some balance. And there's really only one rule when you're a team DJ in the locker room before games, and that's it. If you have a playlist and you win that game, the very next game you have to keep the same playlist, no matter what. That's the only rule you got to abide by. If you lose, you can change up a couple songs, but if you win, it's got to be the same list in the same order. So I think we're in October of my rookie year there in 2012, and I played the song "The Dog Days Are Over" by Florence and the Machine, and you know, at the time in 2012 it was a big hit. About a few months ago, it's been on the number one list, you know, top 10 list for a long time, and I'm playing a song, and I'm placing my stick, and the music's going, guys are getting ready, and Sid comes up to me, and he goes, hey, dude, this is a really good song. And I said, yeah, I know, man. He's like, dude, so I went to Italy last summer. It was myself and Braden Shen and Nathan McKinnon, and Sid starts telling me this whole story about it when he went to Italy. And this song by Florence and the Machine, The Dog Days Are Over, it kind of became their theme song because they just kind of played it throughout their whole trip. So he's telling me about going up and down the coast and going onto the islands and, eating good pasta, and this song just kept coming back. So he tells me it's like 5-hit stories. So anyway, game happens. He goes out there. He scores a goal and gets a couple of assists, and we win the game. A couple nights later, we go to Philly. And we're getting ready in Philly, and like I said, same routine, same lineup, same songs. And I'm over there fixing my equipment, getting ready for the game, and of course the Florence and the Machine song comes back on again. And Sid comes up to me and he said, "Hey, dude, this is a great song." And I said, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "Did I ever say a time that I went to Italy and we played this song?" And it was like our routine song. And I'm looking at this guy like, is this guy concussed? You just told me this story. And he starts telling me, so I just kind of let it breathe. Anyway, we win that game, okay? Same thing, 3 games later. Guys, we won 15 games in a row. And I'm talking about every single game he would find me. And I was telling Carey and Randy the other day about this, and it got to the point where game 12 and 13, my game's going to complete absolute hell. And I'm like mind numb from this stupid story. It's like affecting my game. And at one point, I actually hid in the bathroom. I knew the song was coming on. And I remember hiding in the bathroom at the Console Energy Center, and the song's going. I can hear it through the wall. I'm like, oh, it's almost over. It's almost over. It's almost over. And I swear to God, the door, boom. And he's like, "Go!" I'm like, I'm on the toilet. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is a really good song." I know. He's like, "Showtime time with Italy. We listened to the song." I'm like, "No." Guys, I tell you, it went on for 15 games. And now it's funny. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, and they're about to make history if they keep winning. And you look at the top 5 list. I think we're number 3 on that list. The 2012-13 Pens. We went on a 15-game run, and that was a huge part of Sidney Crosby's routine. And of course, it's a silly story, but every player had something like that with Sid. That you kind of just wanted to figure out, your role and his routine, and basically just be available for him in any way you needed, because you knew at the end of the day he was going to help you win some big games. But I remember when we ended up losing on that 15th game or the 16th game, whatever it was, the first thing he did was come up to me in the locker room after we were kind of getting undressed, and he just put his arm around my shoulder and said, "Dude, hey, that was a pretty good run." Oh yeah, that was a good run. I'm gonna need therapy for the next 15 years of my life, but it was a good run.
That's incredible,
Oh,
Joe.
my God.
That's great stuff. I know a lot of people enjoyed hearing that story again.
I
So we had
appreciate
to we had to bring it back because we were talking about it the other day, and I knew that you had told me that, and I couldn't remember the exact details. So you always tell it with with great enthusiasm, man. It's phenomenal. All right, before we move on here, let you go. What tonight? I mean, you got the Blue Jackets coming in. So they're not a good team. They haven't played well. They're banged up. They just played in Seattle. Like, this is a perfect opportunity for the Blues to continue this winning streak. But how is a team like Columbus dangerous?
Well, teams like Columbus is dangerous because they have some second and third year players, Stalt, that really can hurt you if you're not careful. Like this Kirill Marchenko, he's second year in the league, 23-year-old kid. He's got 15 goals on the year. He dealt with the Blues a fit earlier in the season when the Blues lost to Columbus in Columbus. So it's players like that, those second-tier players that you don't really think about all that often, they can really hurt you. I mean, you're going to keep an eye on the Johnny Gaudreaus, right? Those guys are going to stand out. You're going to have to limit time and space on them. But Columbus, surprisingly, does have a really nice second layer of scoring that if you're not careful and you're not observant and you're not taking inventory when you're out there, they can burn you. And this is a team, too, that, when they get the lead, they've actually played surprisingly pretty well with the lead. I know they're allowing the second most goals against the National Hockey League right now, but every now and then they'll get some surprisingly really good goaltending. So super important here tonight that the Blues get off to a good start. And, with a struggling team like you mentioned, it's a good point. When you're playing a team that's struggling like Columbus, it's the last game before their break, too. It's been a long 9-day road trip for them. I mean, this is where you got to squash them right off the hop. Just take their will away right off the bat, have a great start to the game, get on the board early, maybe get the first 2, and they'll completely evaporate from the game. So that's certainly going to be one of the big keys here tonight.
Good stuff, Joe. We'll let you go. Thanks, man. We appreciate your time. Enjoy it tonight.
I appreciate you guys as well. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care. This is Joe Vitale here in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. It's remarkable, man.
Joey
is a remarkable story. I can see it, too. I can see it playing out that way.
Every game.
Day.
Like, come on, man.
That's incredible. All right, we've got Bet the Board, 3 stars of the day, criticisms, compliments. Next on 101 ESPN. Hey, fellas, listen up. If you are experiencing low testosterone, you probably don't know it. You get a little bit older, and all of a sudden, life hits you pretty hard, and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm running down. I'm constantly running uphill here. I don't have the same energy. I don't have the same focus. I don't have the same drive. And when it comes to work or personal life, whether you're a father and you just feel like you're struggling all the time, there's a solution. Head down to Mentality. That's what Jamie and I did. We were very proud, and we had the ego, and like, no, we'll figure this out ourselves. Well, if somebody's telling you, we're also experiencing this, just like other men do, get yourself tested. They do it right there for you at Mentality. They'll test your blood. If you are low on testosterone, other vitamins like Jamie and I were, they'll put you on their program, and they'll get you right back on track. When it comes to Mentality, they're there for you to make sure that you're living your ultimate life, that you are great in the gym, that you are great in the office, you're great at home, and you're the man that you want to be. And like, again, you need help. You can't, life hits you fast. You might be struggling with sleep or diet or exercise or whatever it is. If you need some help, head down to Mentality. Jamie and I, tell them Jamie and I sent you, and they'll take care of you down there. The people are fantastic. And after a while, you're going to be like, man, I wish I would have done this sooner. It's Mentality. Visit them at lowtusa.com. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Talked a lot of Oli Marmol and his conversation with Xavier Scruggs. We got some awesome mic drops from you throughout the course of the day. Had some really good conversations on it. Carey was fired up that Arthur Smith is the OC now for the Steelers. Very fired up about that. Talked about the Blues. Sure. Yeah, no, you're
ready to roll.
Hey, he's not Matt Canada. That's the best we can do.
That going for
That's the best we can do right now.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah. We talked about tonight and how it's basically a must-win for the Blues. And I thought Jamie brought up some really good points about how we're going to find out a lot about what we need to know about this Blues team and the mental makeup of it with a game like tonight. So, again, that's all available on the podcast. Also had an issue with the Gauntlet, but we ironed it out. No problems.
You got the W.
No, I got the dub. That's right.
Hockey.
Yeah, in hockey.
And you sent Jamie his list, so you make sure he's on point for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't know that we all assist Jamie because we are teammates.
Sometimes he needs help. He needs help with hockey. We need to show him the way.
I think he got it.
I mean, I think from your hockey knowledge, it's absolutely crazy that the Clear It camp does not get approved by Synergy Hockey.
We're gonna make that happen at some point.
Jamie's a savvy businessman. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's doing in life.
Okay,
but this is just one he's just missing out on. He's just decided to miss out on a golden opportunity, and I can't make him do it.
Right.
I can't make somebody do something.
The importance of clearing the puck, though, it's
vital.
It's right up there with net front presence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Jamie doesn't see it that way. So, Clear Camp's going to be big someday, and Jamie's going to wish he was a part of it. Let's do some bet the board.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we have to. Did you win yesterday?
No.
Who'd you have?
Dang on Clippers.
They lose?
Yeah.
Outright?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I had UC Saros and the Nashville Predators. They were up 3-0 in the first period.
Yeah, they were rolling.
Lost 4-3 in overtime.
Oh no!
Yes, they did.
What the hell? Yeah, Marsh, you win?
I did, yeah, because they scored 3 goals in the first period. I had the over 1.5.
I'm glad you and Jamie got yours.
Yeah.
There you go, you selfish sons of...
Would you like to know the standings?
Nah.
No.
All right, well, Jamie is in first. Yeah, you guys are both 6-10. Unfortunately for Chuck
a couple of Jeff
and
Fishers here.
Wes, they will not be winning, but there could be a punishment here.
When did this get decided?
Punishment? Oh, yeah? Come on, man. You can't just be making up rules. Oh, sorry.
You still haven't done your punishment from the football season.
Thank you.
Since we're speaking of punishment,
Jamie,
fine.
And Jamie hasn't done his waffle punishment.
Bring in the gun.
Bring
to get this taken care of. How many you owe now? 4?
4.
5.
6.
7.
Come on now. It's not that many. I know I was bad, but not that bad.
I'm going to go borrow it. I got to get this taken care of.
Yeah, no
we
kidding.
don't want to let this slide anymore.
Let's do it this week.
Trying to add punishments.
Yeah, come on.
Talk about that. Played much better if I knew it was punishments required.
All right. Yeah, we would have tried harder.
I've been trying.
Me too. All right, so Jamie's got the over 6.5 goals tonight for the Blue Jackets and the Blues. Marsh, what's your play?
I'm going to go back to the well. I'm going to go Blues, Blue Jackets, over 1.5 goals for the first period.
All right. Carey.
I'm torn. I want to take the Illini. They're minus 3.5, but part of me wants to just take the over since I took the under and Luka went 73 a couple of years ago. I'll do the over for the game of 146.5.
I like how confident you are, kid.
I'm not. What is that, 75 to 70? 70?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Sure.
85, 80?
Something around there.
I know. I should do the 3.5. Okay, I'm stuck now.
I'm going to go with the Ohio State Buckeyes plus 3.5. Give me the home dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Give me the home dog.
He has to.
He's trying. Oh, can I change mine to the Illinois minus 3.5?
Yeah, of course.
Hell of that.
You know what? I was wondering, who are the Illini playing tonight?
No.
Anthony just answered that question.
Yep.
Take that.
All right. I hate Ohio State, too.
We beat the hell out of these guys.
Are you ready for the 3 stars of the day?
Yes, of course we are.
We have an honorable mention. Did not get a star today, but Thanks Dad wanted to point out that Xavier Scruggs, deserves a star. We're gonna leave that for honorable mention.
Okay.
So, our 3rd star of the day, we just had him on the show, Joe Vitale's Sidney Crosby story.
Nice.
Always a great time hearing that. And a lot of people
surprised he didn't get the first star. But
well, a lot of people thought maybe he should. Some others with other varying opinions. Our 2nd star of the day goes to Lisa with a great mic drop that we used for the biggest question of the day.
Nice job.
And our 1st star of the day, everyone should have had him as the 1st star because of the Gauntlet. And that goes to Drew. He saved our bacon. He saved our bacon.
Yes, he did.
Drew.
Nice job, Drew.
Thank you for getting us into the Gauntlet. Because
when I was in the cone of silence, he goes, I was walking out the door. You guys are lucky. So, nice job, Drew. All right, those were our 3 stars. Don't forget, we've got Blue Jackets pregame right here on 101 ESPN starting at 6 o'clock. We got our guy Grant. Grant Francis is going to fill in for Alex Ferrario. Alex decided to take some time off, well-deserved. Although, hey, you still got 1 game, Alex. What the hell? But Grant's going to step into a great job, so we'll be listening to him. And then we got the Blues game on the Blues Radio Network. For Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya!